Welcome to Nimin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today we are answering your YouTube questions. And what I mean by we is myself and my brother from the same mother, D. D, what is going on?
We're the Lemon Brothers. Today listen, if you have questions about lemons, if you're interested in learning when a lemon is at a proper time to be squeezed, the best way to grow lemons, how to take care of your lemon orchard,
so good.
What lemons are good to be mixed with, the best lemons for whatever type of alcohol or tea that you choose.
Yes.
This is the stream
You're
for
in the
you.
right place.
How do you mess that beginning up?
Yeah, I was just like thinking about other stuff. Like as it was going, I was just autopiloting it, I guess.
How many times have you said that intro?
Paul Pick, Drywall Tube in the house. What's going on, dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. It's been a while. F-Whip, what's going on? Home Rapid Repair, what's going on? Doug Hewson.
Paul would not have messed that up.
Here, Chantel, what's going on? Yeah, I think Paul definitely would not have messed that up. Yeah, hope everybody's been great. Hope you had a fantastic week this week. I hope that your channel's doing well. Your latest videos are doing well. Hope that you are doing awesome. If you got lemons, I hope you haven't squeezed them.
Yeah. Hope your lemons are doing well.
Right. But I do want to let you know, if this is your first time here, that we have a form down in the description. I've also got it pinned at the top of the chat as well, and I dropped it into the chat just a few messages ago. So if you have a question about anything it is that you are doing on YouTube, any questions that you have about making content, about growing your YouTube channel, about connecting with your viewers, anything as it relates to making content, feel free to add it to that form. And if you get it in there now, then we will get it answered on the stream because I reset this right before we went live, and I literally have one question in there right now. So if you have a question, make sure that you get it into the form, and we will get it answered on the stream today. With that out of the way, and make sure you put the question in the form, but what I'm going to do just for this particular one for Jacob C11, they want to know how to make money on YouTube. So when it comes to making money on YouTube, we'll go ahead and talk about that first.
Yeah, get on it.
D. Yeah, we're just gonna get in motion here,
go.
And we'll talk about this stuff over here in just a minute.
Squeeze some lemons.
But
Let's get started.
So when it comes to making money on YouTube, there's a bunch of different ways that content creators make money on YouTube. Just to give you a few different examples, of course we have ad revenue, right? That's built in, or we'll just call it on-platform monetization. So that includes like the YouTube shopping option, that includes or the shopping affiliate option, that includes super chats, that includes channel memberships if you're in the partner program. It includes ads on your videos, those sorts of things. And then the next thing that we have that is also really popular for content creators is affiliate marketing. So when it comes to affiliate marketing, the whole thing there is that you sign up with a company that is a service or a product of some kind. And when you sign up for that company in their affiliate program, they will give you a dedicated link to their product. So that link is unique to you, and you add that link to your video descriptions, and then you make videos about that product or mention that product, and then you tell people that the link is down in the video description. And when people go and they click that link and they go and make a purchase, then you get a commission for that particular sale. So it's just a really easy way to just add to your bottom line as a content creator. The next thing is people make their own products. So depending on the type of content that you make and the people that you're in front of, there may be products that you can make around your YouTube channel that you can share with your audience. And if they purchase those items, and of course you would make money from that as well. But that's also a really popular way that content creators make money on the platform. In addition to that, you also have sponsorships. When it comes to sponsorships on YouTube, that is how you get contracts with brands, and that can be a per video, it can be a series of videos, it can be a 3-month contract, 6-month contract, a year-long contract with different things involved with each one. But that's also a really popular way for content creators to make money. But those are the core ones. And as far as like your own products, things like that, like other things that fall into that category is like merch, because that's like a really easy way to get started with doing your own things because it doesn't really require a lot. So when it comes to merchandise, the whole idea there is that you use a service like spreadshop.com and you upload graphics to their service, and this is all free. You upload graphics to their service, and then you create a store on spreadshop.com. And then when people end up buying one of your t-shirts or hoodies or hats or coffee mugs or whatever it is that you offer, then in that particular case, you are going to get a commission of that sale. sale. You actually get the sale, but then they also get, a part of that sale for, making the whole thing possible. But when it comes to making money on YouTube, those are, some of the most common ways that people do it. But, there's other things that people do also. So, along with the sponsorship side of things, people also do, direct like integrations into the videos themselves, just like a little small snippet to where people are like, hey, this video is brought to you by. In other cases, it'll be, a dedicated video for that particular product and that sort of thing. But a lot of different ways. And when it comes to live streaming, all the same rules apply. So when it comes to live streaming, it all comes down to, what it is that is a good fit for your audience and how you can, tap into that. So again, for the questions, hey Ed, what's going on, man? So again, for the questions, if you have any questions, make sure that you do get them into the form because we are answering those in the order that they come in. And if we don't get questions coming in, then we'll figure out something else to do. So the first question we have in here is from Home Rapid Repair. They upload 1 time per week or more. They have been making videos for 1 year or more. The type of channel is home improvement. The goal of the channel is to become a trusted source of home improvement advice for people. And the question is, in the future, I want to use channel memberships to help people, another money-related question. Channel memberships to help people with how-to questions and share their photos, etc. Currently, I would have to take them off platform like Discord, but I don't want to do that. With YouTube's new community tab where viewers can create posts themselves and start conversations and share media, what are your thoughts about keeping viewers on platform for building that type of membership? So let's talk about the pros and cons of this. Homekeeping channel, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Driver Saison, what's going on? Hope you're doing awesome. So when it comes to the pros and cons. So first, the pros. So if you have something that you're doing that's integrated into YouTube, channel memberships, you're doing that sort of thing within the community, the bonus of keeping it on YouTube is it makes it all super easy, right? It makes it really easy for somebody to take that action because 1, people trust YouTube, so it's easy for people to put their credit cards in, things like that, because they trust it. 2, they're already engaged in the platform, so they don't have to go anywhere to do it. They just have to click a couple of buttons that will give them access to the things instead of them having to go through like a registration process and that sort of thing. So it's just easier, right? And then it's all self-contained, and then not only does that keep everything self-contained on the side where you're using that community feature, but it also keeps people engaging with your channel, because if they're engaging with that stuff on your channel, then some of them might go and watch some videos and that sort of thing. But the idea is it just keeps people coming back to your YouTube channel, and that's the thing that's in people's mind in terms of how to get that value from you. When it comes to having that stuff hosted off-site, in that particular case, it gets a little bit more tricky because you have to know how to, use some of the services that are out there in order to create, a membership type thing. So there might be some setup required from that, which is okay in a lot of cases if you use a service like Uscreen or Kajabi or something like that. But you can set up those types of things there, but it does require that. It requires that setup process, but it usually also requires a payment of some kind as well. So on YouTube, you have the option to do it there for free, where, they'll get a cut of the whole thing, or you can pay a service where they'll also get a cut, or some services like Uscreen, for example, they let you just pay a set fee and then you can sell as much as you want or as little, and you're still going to pay the same exact fee. So because of that, there's a fee attached. There might be some technical hurdles there on getting things set up. And since people aren't already on those platforms, you have to be able to get people to those platforms. And that by itself can be challenging. So when it comes to the YouTube side, if they're already on YouTube and you do something, they might actually see it getting recommended to them on YouTube. Whereas if you do something inside of one of these other services, then in that particular case, nobody's even going to see it unless they go in there, or if they have some type of notification system that might let them know that, there was some type of update and they have that notification turned on. So because of that, it does make that side of it, a little bit worse. But the big win when it comes to off-site is that you get to not put all of your eggs in one basket. So because of that, if you want to look at it in terms of something that you can depend on, then that's where you would start thinking like, okay, what could I offer off-site as well? And the reason for that, again, is because, let's say there's an error of some kind on YouTube, or let's say that you break a rule that you don't know exists right now. In that particular case, you might get kicked out of the partner program. And when you get kicked out of the partner program, then, you would instantly lose everything. But if you did have something that was off-site, it at least wouldn't take you down to zero. You would at least still have whatever it is that's off site to kind of keep you moving forward while you're getting everything built back up, or while you're dealing with the problem and interacting with YouTube, trying to get everything, fixed again. So, definitely pros and cons to both, but the ease of use is great in terms of, somebody can just click a couple of buttons versus having to go somewhere and create an account, all that stuff involved. But the putting all of your eggs in one basket thing is a pretty big deal as well, because I don't know if you saw this or not, but a few weeks ago, it might have been about a month now, but they had a glitch where a lot of channels got terminated on YouTube. Yeah. And when a lot of those channels got terminated, YouTube has, since restored those channels. But, imagine having all of your eggs in YouTube's basket and you wake up and your channel's terminated either because you broke a rule you didn't know about or because of a glitch of some kind. If it's a glitch, they're going to do the right thing and bring it back. But the idea is just, how vulnerable, so to speak, it makes your YouTube business if you don't have at least something off-site. Now, other things that you can do is if you do have like an email list or something like that, and you can drive people into that email list, even if they're a member, then you can still have people sign up for that email list. So in the event something does go south on YouTube, if you are putting all your eggs in YouTube's basket, then that at least creates one layer of security to where you can say like, oh, hey, we're doing this now, right? You send that email out and you're like, hey, we're doing this now instead of doing it over here. And then that at least gives you, one layer of, peace of mind, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I think it comes down to the level of risk that you want to take. If you've got a relatively small channel, you're not making a lot of money. I don't think it's a big risk. Mm-hmm. But at some point, when your channel gets big, if you have a lot of channel members, I think it's an important decision you're going to have to make. Mm-hmm. If there's an oopsie, hopefully YouTube yeah. If there's an oopsie, which happens, hopefully YouTube can fix that oopsie and everything can be taken back to where it was before, or not. I mean, there's a lot of channels that will open up things on Patreon or have others. Some people will run both. They'll have YouTube members for one thing, and then they'll also give people an option to support them in other places like Patreon, or they'll use like Buy Me a Coffee or Ko-Fi or another option like that. Yeah, I think it just comes down to risk.
Yeah, and that another important thing too is just thinking about not just with that one thing that you're talking about specifically in terms of offering additional stuff, but just just monetization in general, and trying to think of like, is there anything that I can do that would create some type of barrier to where if something I can do off-site to where if there was some type of an issue on platform that I would have that to lean on as well. So that could be, a Discord group, which is something you don't want to do. It can be a Facebook group, an email list. It can be like another product of some kind, something like that. But just trying to create some type of, fail safe for you. So in the event something does go south, you're covered.
Agreed.
So next up on the list, we got Daniel Krieg. Daniel Krieg uploads one time per week or more, been making videos for less than 1 month. Welcome to YouTube. Welcome to the creator side of YouTube. It's a totally different world over here. We're a bunch of monkeys over on this side. But the type of channel is education channel. The goal of the channel is to show people how to start a business. And the question is, my videos are not getting any views. Okay, so you're brand new. So first off, when it comes to YouTube, keep in mind that there's a lot involved with being a content creator. And one of the core things of being involved as a content creator or being a content creator is learning how to grab people's attention when they're not expecting to watch your videos. So I just pulled, I'm just going to give you a quick example here. And I'm not going to pull it up on screen because you look like a younger person. So I'm not sure how old you are. So I'm not going to pull it up on screen right now. But basically, if you're not getting views on your YouTube videos, one of the things that you have to think about, I mean, look, you've uploaded 2 videos. So one, work on the expectations, right? Like, hardly anybody will have be getting a lot of results with 2 videos, especially if you've never done this stuff before. Yeah. So because of that, hold on, not getting views. So because of that, it's important to make sure that you just give yourself time to learn the platform, to go through the process of learning all this stuff, which is what you're doing. You're here right now, right? So you're taking the right steps. But one thing you got to think about is like your video right here. You say, I'm doing wheat farming, okay? So one thing you got to think about is your title or your thumbnail is a photo of you. You're not looking at the camera. You're looking off to the side. And you got to think about that particular experience for somebody that might be interested in wheat farming. When your content shows up on their homepage, what about your thumbnail helps them identify that this has anything to do with farming in any way, that this has anything to do with wheat farming, that this has anything to do with anything outdoors related, anything like that, that would help them identify that this is something that they might care about, right? And then from there, you have, I'm doing wheat farming. Well, you told the viewer, the potential viewer, everything they need to know about this particular video without them even needing to click on it, because there's nothing additional to it. So in addition to the information that you're giving, which is the I'm doing wheat farming, which is, a good place to start, you need to think about, how the viewer is going to get value from that content. So instead of I'm doing wheat farming, you can have a slight modification to that will instantly add value to a potential viewer. And of course, you got to think about this at the topic level before you make the video. But for example, instead of I'm doing wheat farming, what I've learned from doing wheat farming is a totally different way to make it to where if somebody was interested in wheat farming, a homesteader, something like that, when they see that content, then they're like, oh, okay, hey, this young person is wheat farming, so maybe this is something that I can get into. Maybe this is something that I can add to the farming that I'm already doing or something like that. So it just creates a different experience when you add something to it that makes it a little bit more compelling, or it suggests some type of value for the potential viewer that you're trying to reach. So start thinking about that. And another one here, you have, I don't want to become a farmer, or I want to become a farmer. Same exact thing there, right? Like you got to think about the viewers. So if you look at your own interactions with YouTube and with content creators, think to yourself, like, when you're looking on YouTube and something grabs your attention, ask yourself, why does this grab my attention? Why did I stop on this video when I'm sitting here scrolling instead of stopping on the video above it? Or there are two videos above it. Like, what about this one? And start analyzing it, right? Well, like, why does this one speak to me, compared to the others? And start using that as kind of like a loose guide to, help you kind of get over that hurdle. But the most important thing, though, is, just being patient with the process, because, just from looking at those first two videos, you've got a lot to learn. OK, but just keep in mind, there's tons of information that you can access for free on YouTube on how to do all the things that I'm talking about. So just, focus on, building those skills up. Brian G. Johnson in the house. What's going on, Brian G? Brian G. Johnson, the author of this particular book, Tube Ritual, Volume 1, helps you go from 0 to 5,000 YouTube subscribers by teaching you all the best practice stuff that you need to know. You can get this on Amazon. I got a link down in the description as well. What's up, Brian G? Nice to see you in here.
Scully Pop has been a member for 60 months.
Nice. Love it. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Super appreciate it.
Love it.
Yeah, so Brian G had a video pop off. He made a video about, it's funny, both of us shared something about one creator on the like a day apart.
Really?
Yeah. So my post was in the member group on Facebook, and I was just sharing that there's a content creator, their video is blowing up, but the thumbnail was just like them with an emotional expression. It was kind of like this or whatever. And in that particular video, like I shared that creator. I was like, yeah, this video's doing great, and the thumbnail doesn't really say much. It just has the emotion, but it helps you see that something's going on here. So you read the title, and then people are going in from that. And then the next day, Brian published a video talking about that creator in like detail and how they blew up and stuff.
What was the video about?
Brian's or that person's? I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't remember right off the top of my head. But yeah, it was just funny. Okay, so next up on our list here, we got Thriftronics. They do vintage electronics. I bet that's fun. I bet you'd get into that. Like vintage electronics, so like getting stuff and like, kind of rebuilding it and kind of, refinishing it and stuff. Yeah, that sounds like something you get into. Like
I every now and then, like Instagram Reels or something, they'll suggest me somebody that collects like vintage electronics. I might follow that person. I don't know. Like vintage, vintage lamps, vintage, all kinds of like old record players, and yeah, fascinating. I don't think I want to take them apart.
Oh, okay.
But I like watching other people hunt for them, and I like watching people restore them. Yeah. And just tinker with them. I like watching it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the cosplay, right, and doing that stuff. In my brain, I'm thinking like, get like a radio and then like polish up everything, then and switch the knobs out,
electronics and transistors, and
yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that's kind of where it falls apart.
Over here, no way. Right. Over here, absolutely not.
Right. Oh. So let's see here. So next up, we've got vintage electronics. Yeah,
I was gonna say,
I'm like, all right, moving on.
Next up, nobody's interested.
So the goal of the channel is to create an interesting channel that one day could make a side hustle. And the question is, I see people and YouTube push memberships. I was wondering, I post 3 times a week. What would I do to add interest to people to have a membership to a small channel? So when it comes to memberships, it does come down to what it is that you decide to offer. So in your particular case, you can do simple things like, advanced content to where you share it with your members before you share it to everybody else. You can take requests from your members in terms of, like, hey, I'm doing these vintage electronics. These are all the ones that I have access to right now or that I have in my possession. What would you like me to make next? And kind of make them a part of, your journey there and the decisions that you're making. Ask them for, input on what it is that you're going to do to those vintage electronics. So you can kind of customize your content to them if you chose to. You can do that sort of thing on the membership side. You just got to be careful and you got to vet the information that you're getting back because they might be like, hey, we want you to do this, or one person might say, hey, I want you to do this, but then, that may or may not be the best fit for the channel. So, you'll have to take the input, but then decide if it's, going to be a good move for the channel or not. But you can absolutely do that sort of thing to get the viewers involved in what it is that you are creating and make them part of your process. Give them, early peeks on, things that you're doing, share behind the scenes stuff. So in your particular case, if you are doing vintage electronics, like Dee mentioned before about going out and finding them and how he watches that content, you could have just like little unedited vlogs that you do. Hey, I'm at this store right now, or at this pawn shop, and I just ran into this particular thing. I think I'm going to do a video for it on my channel, but I'm picking it up now, so keep an eye out for this video, right? To where you just give little teasers in there, or you just give them, additional insights into things that you're putting together, or just show them, raw stuff, or live streams of you, actually, repairing things and that kind of stuff. So lots of things you can offer. I mean, we're just kind of, quick brainstorm live.
There's a guy, and by the way, we're talking about the antique giant building that we have here. We have a antique electronics store here that is absolutely massive. Apparently they have one in Bangkok that's even larger.
Really?
Yeah, it is absolutely massive. Massive complex of vintage everything, from vintage Coke machines to lamps to radios, TVs, you name it, everything is in there. It's fantastic. That I was going to say, I ran across a guy, and for the life of me, I don't know what the channel name is, but he's in Japan, and he does vintage electronic shopping in Japan, and he finds the coolest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And he'll find stuff in Japan and he takes it back to his place. And the whole thing is kind of like ASMR related. And he'll take it back to his place and like tinker with it. And you hear all the noises of the tinkering and how he's like fixing things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, things like that. Things like that. Just anything that you can do to personalize the process, right? Just kind of give them, additional access into what it is that you're doing. That can be valuable, especially for what it is that you're doing, because the people that are going to be watching your content are going to be into that sort of thing. So they can definitely get involved with that. Andrew Cannon in the house.
Hey,
Andrew. Hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here. So Property Problem says, this weekend I'm posting my first long form video in a year. Time to get on the YouTube grind. Get it, man. Make 2025 your year. It's coming up. We're knocking on its door right now.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we're knocking on that door right now. So get your plan together, for 2025. When you're getting that plan together, think about the content that you're going to publish. Think about the places within your schedule that you have to make content, places in your schedule that you have to come up with video ideas, places in your schedule that you have to edit content together. Start thinking about all of those things that can make it possible, and start thinking about also the things that kind of derailed you before, and think about how you can, work against those things and schedule things in order to make sure they happen and so on. But definitely get that plan together so you can kind of have your on ramp right now as the year's coming to an end, and then go, full force in 2025, man. But that's awesome. Love it.
We're down to the last 60 days of the year.
We're squeezing.
Crazy.
Squeezing in there, sliding in.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This year just flew by. Absolutely flew by.
Yeah. This is I think the first year that I've had where I thought like, holy cow, like the whole year's gone.
This is a fast year for me too.
Yeah, like normally it's like, oh, it was a fast like couple months or whatever, but it was like, whoa, yeah. Been learning a lot this year though, so maybe it's that.
Could be.
Yeah, just like could be that. So next up, we got Bright Photoshop Tutorials. They do bi-weekly content, been on YouTube for a year or more. The channel it's all about graphic designing. The goal of the channel is to help others learn the skill of graphic design. And the question is, I can't find the join or super chat on dashboard, or is my country not eligible for that feature? Yeah, if you don't see it, then you wouldn't be eligible for that feature. Or if you are talking about from the creator side, keep in mind that you have to be in the YouTube Partner Program for that to be active. So you have to make sure that you do, qualify for that. So if you are in the Partner Program that you don't see it, then in that particular case, it's probably your country. But I would reach out to Team YouTube just to be on the safe side, just to make sure that that there's not something wrong with the channel, and then they'll be able to give you that clear information on if you are or are not eligible. Shark Scrappers next up on our list. Uploads one time per week or more. Been on YouTube for 1 year or more. The type of channel is infotainment. The goal of the channel is to promote recycling and my biz. And the question is, my wife is a Patreon of a couple Patreon cooking channels. She recently received a notice of some legal action between Patreon and Facebook. Have you heard anything about this? I use Patreon for my memberships and I haven't seen anything. No, I haven't. So if she received a notice about that, because she is a member over there, just tell her to be careful. Yeah. Because that could be somebody that has noticed, something with her involvement over there. Maybe they've had an issue of some kind and they've got her information or something like that, and they could be trying to, do something weird there. So it's possible. Right. But I'm just saying I would definitely be careful. Like if you're on Patreon all the time and you haven't gotten that notice, but she did, I would definitely just be a little bit careful, making sure she doesn't click on anything out of that email or anything.
I was going to say, don't click on anything. Don't download anything. Don't click on this thing to sign this thing or none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm going to look at it right now.
Okay.
Well, what is it? Facebook and
Patreon.
Yep.
And if you are just joining the chat, if this is your first time here, I do want to let you know that we are talking about all things YouTube related. So if you are a YouTube content creator, this is the place for you. If you have any questions about anything it is that you're doing on YouTube, I just dropped the form, a link to the form, into the chat right here, so you can go ahead and get your questions. In there. So my recording studio, what's going on? Hope you're doing awesome. Welcome to the stream. Charlie Morris, what's up, dude? Hope you are doing awesome. Jerry Papandrea, my dude, what's up? Nikki, what's going on? Nice to see you in here. Hope everybody's doing awesome.
It should be against the law for a company or a blogger or somebody to write an article and not have a date on it. It should be illegal.
So I think, I don't know, I think it might have been Renee Ritchie that posted it. But there was something going around. It's going around on Reddit too, and I haven't looked into it, so I'm not sure. So don't take this as it is this way or this is happening. But something about I know there's one thing going around about YouTube taking the dates off of videos. And then,
that's a rumor, you mean?
Yeah, but I don't know, what people are seeing with it. But one thing is that they're taking dates off. Another thing is that they are taking off the view counts as well. So it's one of those, or it might be both of them, that Renee made a post about and said that, there was community notes on it, and YouTube actually publicly stated that it's third-party extensions that are doing that. So people are using ad blockers and all these different extensions when they're interfacing with YouTube, and it's causing that issue.
Yeah, I can't find anything. I'm seeing some stuff from.
Andrew Can's seeing it right here too. Yeah, he said YouTube claims third-party extensions are removing the dates off of videos. Okay, there we go.
Weird.
Yeah, you saw it too.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for any issues with Patreon and Facebook. I see some things from 2019, but.
Rumoy, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. So just as a heads up, I have your question right here. So you are next up in line. I've got it in the forum right here. Property Problem says, meanwhile, I have 2 years of footage from remodel, so there's an avalanche of content coming. Yeah, perfect. Super cool. Yes, it sounds like you're primed and ready to go. Right? That's good. Okay, so the next question here is from Rumoy. They do daily content, been on YouTube for less than a year. They do gaming content. The goal is 100,000 subscribers. The question is, I've been making videos for a bit less than a year, and I only have 0.2 returning viewers. So how can I make them come back so I have more chances to get monetized? And I have a really low watch time. I don't know what I do. Make less content, but more quality, or more videos and less quality. You gotta raise the quality. Right? That answer is embedded in your question. So when it comes to you being on YouTube and not being able to get people to come back to the channel, they're not coming back to the channel. Well, one, you have low watch time. So low watch time means, like, if you mean low watch time in terms of people are clicking into the video and not watching for a long period of time, if that's what's happening, then in that particular case, that means that the viewers just aren't, engaged in what it is that you're doing, which means that you have to work on the skill set side of learning how to make videos that will keep people watching for a longer period of time. And that also comes down to like making good thumbnails that create the right expectation for the viewer, coming up with good video topics that the people that you're targeting would be the most interested in. Those types of things are things that you have to work on, because, when you can't get people coming back to the channel, it means that they're either not enjoying the content or they're not getting a clear value out of what it is that you're doing. So because of that, you have to work on, making better content for them, which is a quality thing. It's not a quantity thing. Like the argument with quantity and quality, and this is really important, is that if you have a really good high quality video, you can put out that one video and then, that video will do fine. You can put out 1,000 low quality videos in terms of the long form content. You can put out 1,000 of those, but that if they're all not quality videos, then none of those are going to do well. So because of that, just ramping up lower quality that people aren't responding to, it's not the fix. You have to fix the core problem, which is, okay, I'm having trouble getting people to watch my videos for a longer period of time, so therefore I'm not collecting watch time on the channel. Therefore, I'm also not getting people to come back to the channel because I can't get them involved in what it is that I'm doing. So work on the actual content side, work on your video topics, helping the people that you're trying to reach identify your content about something that they care about, writing good, compelling titles, and of course, working on the video content. So inside of your YouTube Creator Studio, inside of the app, the YouTube Studio app from YouTube, and inside of the desktop version of your Creator Studio, which you can also access if you need to using desktop mode on your browser, one of the things that you have is something called an audience retention report in your video. So if you're a new content creator and you haven't heard this before, your audience retention report is a second-by-second graph of how people respond to your content over time. So what you want to do is you want to go and you want to look at first your audience retention report, which is the first one that you'll see. And that is going to show you exactly how people are interacting with your content when they come into it. If you see a huge drop at the beginning to where, they come in and then it's just like, a really fast, drop where you lose most of your viewers at that beginning part, then that's the part that you got to work on in your video. If it doesn't happen until later, then you got to work on that part, once it happens later in your video. What you want is you want them to come in and you want it to be as straight as possible, but the goal is to stop that drop as fast as you possibly can. And then from there, try to keep people watching, at a consistent rate across the video for as long as you can. So it's normal for videos to drop at the beginning. And it's also normal for once they do drop in the beginning, but then you catch them, for them to start, kind of trailing off from there. That's normal. If you are in that same audience retention report, you also have the option, and this one, I don't believe they've added this to the mobile app yet, but you also have an option to compare yours to other videos of a similar length. So if your videos aren't performing, another thing that you can do is you can compare your videos to other videos of a similar length, and it's going to show you how competitive or not that your content is against other videos on the platform. And this is a super important metric to look at, because if you're underperforming, then that tells you that if YouTube has the choice to show your content to somebody, or show the content that is getting a much higher performance to somebody, then it's likely that it's probably going to show it, that higher performing content to them. So because of that, you gotta start working on just the foundational stuff. And if you're just getting started, it's frustrating because you see all these YouTubers getting all these views and stuff, and you're like, man, I just want that. But if you're not getting that activity, then that means that you have a lot to learn. So you just have to go through the process of learning those things. And then you'll start noticing when you're learning these things, because you'll be applying them to your channel and you'll be building up your skill sets. It's going to help you see things differently. And as you start publishing more and more videos over time, applying all these new things that you're learning, then you're going to start seeing, better results from the videos that you're publishing. So just get to work on the skill set side, learning how to make good thumbnails, learning how to come up with good video topics, learning how to, communicate well in your videos, like Dee and I were talking about earlier today.
Yeah.
Yep. Learning how to edit your videos, learning how to do all the things that we have to do as content creators.
All the things.
A
lot of skills to learn.
Yep. Next up on our list, we got Dr. Sayamoy Damalari. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They have been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do health, wellness, and lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is to reach people and with health-related content. The question is, what do I need to do to maximize growth in terms of subscribers and watch hours? When one of my videos goes viral, I have a viral video which has been running on my channel. Kindly assist with what's next. So, okay. So the very first thing is to consistently, here, hold on, I'm going to update this thing down here on the bottom.
What are you doing?
I'm just kind of playing with something here
No.
to where, I'm just putting the talking, the topic here on the screen just for people as they're coming in so they can kind of see what we're talking about. So not sure if they'll find it helpful, but I figured I'd give it a shot. So when it comes to maximizing growth in terms of subscribers and watch hours, everything comes down to kind of what I just said. So when you are publishing videos to YouTube, you have to remember that you are making content for other people. If you want subscribers and growth, then that becomes even more important that you're making videos for other people. So because of that, you have to go through the process of learning how to make good content and then repeatedly make good content. So you're saying here that you have a video that went viral. So the way to follow that up, and it may or may not, have a similar result, but the way to follow up a viral video is to think about, okay, this video is suddenly bringing in all this additional traffic to my YouTube channel. What's the topic of this video? Okay, so this is the topic of this video. So for the people that are interacting with this particular video that's doing extremely well, what would be a perfect next video for those people, or as close to perfect as you can get for the next video that those people are going to be likely to enjoy? So this isn't something to where you necessarily go into your stats and you start digging around, start looking for that kind of stuff. You sit back and you think to yourself, okay.
Common sense stuff.
Yep, you sit back and you think to yourself like, okay, if they came in and they watched this video, then that means that they're interested in these specific things. So if they're interested in those specific things, then I talked about these things in my video, then in that particular case, what could I make based on what they've already proven me that they're interested in? That would be a great follow-up for this particular video from a topical standpoint. And you take that approach in order to, to ride off of that influx of traffic or viewership that you're getting.
Next.
Run number 8, D, in case you're watching.
I'm not watching.
Spirit Fractal is the next one that you have. They upload one time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. The type of channel is personal and spiritual growth. The goal of the channel is to bring awareness to spirit fractals and provide inspiration. And the question is, how important are short form videos? Are they necessary? D.
I think short form videos, I think it's something great to test on your channel to see if your audience is there. I strongly believe in meeting your audience where they're at, and you don't know if they're there if you're not trying them yet. So test them out, see if your audience responds to short form videos. You might do well, maybe not.
You don't know if they're there until you
try. You don't know
That's
where your
good.
audience is.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really, You don't know if they're there until you throw something in that area. That's good.
But I wouldn't just do like 1 or 2 videos. I would really think through and do like, okay, maybe I'm going to do shorts for like a month and just see if you have any movement there.
In addition to whatever else it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Don't stop doing the long form content. Look at them as like two different avenues to serve customers. Some people love shorts and they consume a lot of shorts. Some people love long form content and they're going to watch your long form videos. Don't stop doing one to do the other. Keep doing them both. And you might find that you get some crossover. Some people who watch shorts will come over and watch your long form videos, but you might also find that you find an entire new audience of people who just love your shorts. So also experiment with different ways of doing your shorts.
Yeah, it's good. Really good.
Yep.
Let's see here. So another question that we have here, and we are on number 9D. They do ATAD Best. They do daily content, been on YouTube for a year or more, gaming content. The goal of the channel is entertainment for myself and engaging with different people in my community. The question is, what is your honest opinion of my channel and what could I do to make it grow a little bit faster? So I'm not looking at channels here today during the stream. That is not, we're answering questions for this one. I do occasionally do streams on other channels, specifically the Tube Spanner channels, and probably going to be doing more reviews over on the TubeBuddy channel as well. So make sure that you are subscribed to both of those channels so you can see those, when they pop up. So next up, number 10D, in case you're keeping track.
Not keeping track.
Suds NYC, they upload 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for a year or more. They do skincare content. The goal of the channel is monetization. Question, what is needed to increase views and subscribers? So when it comes to views and subscribers on YouTube, hold on, let's update this real quick.
What's needed for views and subscribers?
Yep.
First and foremost, let's talk about subscribers for a second. And we talk about this a lot. Don't get too caught up in subscribers in terms of making that your only goal, because subscribers have a funny way of taking care of themselves. Like if that's a metric that you're really paying attention to, if you're making videos that people like, bottom line, if you're making videos that people like, they're going to subscribe to your channel. So that's one of those things where I urge people, don't put the cart before the horse. Don't start thinking about how can I get these subscribers? How can I get these subscribers? Think first, how can I make videos that people enjoy? How can I make videos that solve problems? How can I make videos that's whatever, right? People like your videos, they're going to subscribe to your channel. It doesn't hurt to give them a nudge and remind them to subscribe. Sure. But if people like your content, they're going to subscribe to your channel. That simple.
Yeah, and more importantly, if they watch your video for a long enough period of time and they engage with your content and they're enjoying what it is that you have, there's also an extremely high likelihood that YouTube's going to recommend more of your content to them anyway, regardless if they're subscribed or not. So so because of that, it comes down to focusing on the content, right?
Yep. I think the other question was views. You want to tackle that? It was like views and subscribers.
Yeah, it needed to increase views and subscribers. So basically, the goal of the channel is monetization, and the question is, what is needed to increase views and subscribers? So yeah, so if, I'll take the view side. So when it comes to increasing views on your content, the very first thing to think about is start thinking at scale. So it's important to be niched down in terms of, you're serving a very particular type of viewer, but you want to make sure that the video topics themselves that you're deciding to make videos about, you got to make sure the video topics themselves have the widest reach within your niche. So for example, if you, because you watch my videos. So in my case, a video on like how to get views on YouTube, pretty much any content creator is like, oh yeah, sure, I want to learn how to get views on YouTube, right? That's something that's relevant to everybody. However, if I make a video on, how to live stream on your phone, in that particular case, it sections my audience down or segments my audience down to only people that are interested in live streaming on their phone. So therefore, instead of having the opportunity to reach this many people, I only have the opportunity to reach this many people. There's nothing wrong with making that content because, it serves its purpose too. And it also, gets in front of, people that will subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. But if you are trying to increase your views, one of the first things that can help you do that is to make sure that your topics are going out to they're applicable to or of interest to a wider group of people. And another thing is, if you want to increase your views, you have to make sure that the content itself is good. You got to make sure that your thumbnails are grabbing the attention of the people that you're trying to reach. An easy way to do that is to use imagery that helps people identify the content has something to do with what it is that they're interested in. Like if you're here at the beginning of the stream, somebody asked about their channel, I pulled it up, and it was about farming, but the photo, their thumbnail was just like them sitting in a room, had zero anything to do with farming when it comes to being able to grab somebody's attention that's interested in farming. A big tractor there, sure, that's the thing. A nice, field of whatever, that also would be, a step in the right direction.
A nice field of whatever. What do you grow? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just grow stuff.
Whatever. Yeah, just grow. I grow stuff.
Throw a bunch of seeds out there and kind of let nature do its thing. Yeah. But just helping, people be able to recognize it is super important. And then from there, learning how to make compelling titles. And then, the big elephant in the room is you have to, learn the video content side. So I recommend for editing that you watch a content creator called Hayden Hillier Smith. He's going to teach you, a bunch of concepts around video editing that can be really helpful for you. But at the end of the day, think about, what it is that you would want from a channel like yours if you were a viewer of your own channel, and start there. And really quick, one thing that I just want to address really quick is Scale Train Station. And David Matney, I've got you right here in a second. Scale Train Station says, hot take, shorts are a waste of time. So a lot of content creators have that point of view. However, there are a lot of content creators that make full-time livings off of just doing YouTube shorts because they get views at scale. In addition to that, mutual friend of Dee's and mine, they just landed a 6-figure deal from their YouTube shorts. So when it comes to them being a waste of time, it's just going to depend on your approach, your strategy that you apply to what it is that you're doing with your shorts. If your viewers are in the short shelf watching content, those types of things. But they're definitely not a waste of time if you're being strategic about what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to say something controversial.
Yeah, do it.
And I don't
love it.
And I don't mean this as a dig towards you, because
this is what I'm here for, D.
Because you may have put in a ton of work and just didn't get anywhere with shorts. I do acknowledge that some people shorts just doesn't work for what I acknowledge that.
Sure.
But I also see a lot of people talking about, you see it on Reddit and stuff like that. Shorts are a waste of time, and you look at the shorts, and it's not that shorts are a waste of time, it's that their shorts were a waste of time. It's that maybe you're not, and I'm not calling you out specifically. I'm just stating that maybe if you're not having a good result with shorts,
could be the shorts.
Could be the shorts.
Yeah.
It could be the shorts. It could be what you're making. It could be the first 5 seconds of your short. Yeah. It could be that it's just so competitive in whatever it is that you're trying to do. I mean, there's lots of variables. I wouldn't I wouldn't make a blanket statement and say they're a waste of time. I think they're incredibly valuable. Right? You don't have to be monetized from shorts in order to make money. Right. We just talked about, getting sponsorship deals from shorts alone. So I would just make sure you try lots of different things before you discount them as just being a complete waste of time.
Yeah. But there's also a difference also of like maybe you just don't like shorts, which is fine. But that doesn't make them like a full waste of time.
Yeah, my shorts have
for everybody.
My shorts have been hit and miss.
Yeah,
some are good, some are bad, and I know that some of them could be better. You go look at the data, you look at where people are watching.
Right. If you're like, I kind of blew it there.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at it. Like, I make a video and I put it up and it doesn't perform well, even if I think it's going to do well. And I look at it and I look where I was like, wow, they swipe away right away. Like they watch 5 seconds and they leave. That's on me. That is on me. I didn't deliver. YouTube did its thing. YouTube put it in front of people. And they either swiped away for whatever reason, or they started watching and they went, nah, and they swiped away. That's on me. They either don't like my stupid face and they swiped away, or whatever I said or did or didn't do at the beginning to keep their attention.
And when mine don't perform, it's D's fault too.
So
I take so mine and D's are both D's fault.
I take full responsibility for your short failures.
So next up, David Matney. What's going on, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Says, hey, Nick and D, could you please explain the difference between browse and suggested, which is better? Thanks. So both of them are great, right? They're both part of YouTube's recommendation system. And when it comes to browse, the cool thing there is that, you get the opportunity to just grab somebody's attention right off the homepage. So let's say that somebody logged into YouTube on their phone or on a computer or wherever, you have that opportunity to just grab somebody, right there. When it comes to suggested videos, we'll talk about search too. But when it comes to suggested videos, that's also a win, because then you start getting connected to other content, which is really cool, because if you start getting a lot of people watching your videos from one video that's doing really well, then you can get a lot of traffic from that particular video or a handful of videos that are doing well and that sort of thing also. So both of them are great for viewership. One thing that can be a little bit different is the size of things, right? So for example, suggested videos, which sometimes on a mobile device, it's not as bad, but on some places, the thumbnail itself will be a little bit smaller. So you just have to be mindful about, how big things are in your thumbnail. When it comes to browse features, you can get away with a little bit more there in terms of, you got more information in your thumbnail because you're trying to get it off of the homepage, and everything's usually bigger there. So, you have those types of things as well. And then when it comes to search, search is cool for channels, possibly in your particular case, where, you search target, content based on things that people are actively looking for. And you just keep taking swings at trying to get your content to show up in YouTube search, so that once people hit it, they, enjoy that content, and that just keeps happening. And then YouTube keeps your video in one of those spots, which can be a consistent driver of traffic over long periods of time. Those sorts of things are what allow me to take breaks with my channel to where maybe I'm uploading consistently for a while, and then I kind of slow down and kind of get less consistent. And then I'll, start being consistent a little bit and things like that. It's that search traffic that allows me to do that. These live streams too help with that a little bit, but search traffic is really helpful for that, because a lot of my viewership comes from search. So because of that, Even if I'm not publishing a brand new video that would go into the recommendation system right now, I've still got, some views coming in from search that kind of keep, the ball rolling, so to speak. So because of that, it can be advantageous there. But search, you also have the opportunity to show up in the textual search engine, so you can get traffic from Google as well when you, do show up in search. And for what you're doing, search is also great for getting right in front of the people that you're trying to get in front of. So like, let's say, for example, somebody's looking for, houses in your area, then you can show up there. If somebody's looking for, buyer tips in your area, you can show up there. If people are looking for things to do in your area, you can show up there as the solution for that. So it just gives you a really good opportunity to, meet your customers in your case, because you're doing this for your business, but it gives you that opportunity to meet your customers there instead of having to, try to grab your customers out of a bunch of random people off of a homepage, right? So it can be much more targeted in that particular case. And in some cases, it can be less competitive too, because when it comes to homepages and suggested videos, it's like everything is performance based, even search. But when you are competing on homepages and suggested videos, you're competing with, homepages, everything that viewer is potentially interested in, right? So YouTube's just throwing a bunch of stuff at them that they think that they're likely to watch, and you just happen to be in there. So if there's an entertainment creator that's in there and that viewer thinks like, hey, this entertainment creator, like they're going to make me just laugh hysterically, where like this person here on a homepage, they're just going to show me a tour of a house or talk about real estate in some way. In that particular case, you might lose out to that person. Yeah. In suggested videos, if they're not sorting them, then in that case, you have a little bit, better of a chance there in terms of relevance. But because of the sorting features and because YouTube does customize that to the viewer now, it also, is just a little bit more competitive there, because you're also competing against, everything that viewer is interested in, or a lot of the things in that case. But when it comes to search, you're just competing for the other things, at least at the top, because they're kind of messing that up now too. But you're competing with just the other people that are making content about that very specific thing. And you just have to beat those people out in terms of how your videos perform in order to be, within those top spots. So because of that, there's a lot of advantages there.
And it's very competitive.
Yeah.
Just across the board. YouTube's always trying to predict what's the viewer going to watch next. Yep. And your video might be one of those videos. Yep. So you're not just competing against people necessarily against your niche. Yep. You're competing against everything. Yep. All the interest of the viewer. Word.
Hybrid Steel, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Ron Trains and Things, what's up, dude?
Hey,
Hope
Ron.
you're doing great. Mickey made it. So next up on our list here, D.
What number?
We're number 11 now.
Not paying attention, but
hey man, you asked. Yeah. So you're on the hook now for the rest of the stream.
I asked.
Way to go.
I asked.
Way to go, D.
I asked so that I didn't have to pay attention.
Okay. Well, now you got to pay attention. Okay. Tad Explorer. They upload one time per week or more, been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do food and travel content. The goal of the channel is growth. And the question is, I followed your advice and made over 100,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. But now I'm struggling a bit. Congratulations. First off, high five, fist bump to you for 100K. Says, but now I'm struggling a bit to make my content more fun. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Could you look at my channel and give any suggestions? Thanks, guys. So let's see here. I'm just going to take a quick gander, but I'm not going to pull it up on screen. And I'm just going to see what it is that you're doing, just because you've
put in some work for 100K.
You put in the work, right? Could you look at my channel and give suggestions? Content more fun, and I feel like I'm repeating myself. Okay, so it looks like you're doing a lot of short form content, but you're also making long form content as well. Let's see here, amazing Thai street food, amazing Thai sheep food. So it looks like you're doing a lot of food related content. People are digging that food related content. So first, man, I would make more of that food related content. Like your long form videos are doing great. Like I would do more of that. Like one of the things that is interesting about the shorts is you're doing well there too. Like I would just keep doing both of them, but do them more consistently. Like I'm not sure what your cadence is for your shorts, but you're crushing there too. So really, dude, I would focus more on putting out more long form content as well. And the reason for that is, one, you have a very branded look. So it's, easy to know that the content is yours, which is great. You have definitely tapped into something here with, how you're structuring your content and how you're packaging everything, and people are digging it. So I would just lean into that and do that as much as you can. Like, because you're here in Thailand also, it looks like. So you know how it is. You know how they're into food here. Like, you know, they're into food everywhere, but like they're really into food over here. So because of that, man, I would just lean into what it is that you're doing and just do more of it. If that means that you have to hire an editor, if that means that you have to record every meal that you eat, whatever it takes, you know, if you're wanting to kind of break that threshold, yeah, I would just lean more into that.
I'm always amazed. People are fascinated with videos of Asian street food. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Asian street food is just one of those things that people get drawn into.
Yep.
Like, I don't eat the stuff. Like, I'll eat the snacks.
Yeah.
Snacks, you know, little pancake things or whatever, little sweet things. But like, you know, just random things with like, I don't know, octopus tentacles.
Right.
Like, you know, just meat that they shear off the thing and there's like bugs, like flies on it or something. Mm-hmm. Hard pass.
Yeah.
I will not be participating in that. Fish that's been there all day in the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. Soups and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Pass.
Yeah, I'll pass. It looks good. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to watch them prepare all that stuff, but yeah, I'm not eating it.
So let's see here. Jim Ladd, yeah, probably would. Jim Ladd says I'm worried that most Asian street food would tear my stuff up. Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's a good chance.
Yeah, especially if you don't handle spicy food well. I don't handle spicy food well at all.
Yep.
I've got a problem with spicy food, and I have a problem with weird textures.
I'm the same.
That's kind of my thing with Asian. Well, I'm not gonna say all Asian food, but let's just focus on Thai food.
Okay.
Thai food. Let's just call it like Southeast Asian food.
Yeah.
A lot of weird textures in their food. It's just, it gets in my mouth and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, same.
Even if it tastes good, there's a texture behind it that I just can't get into.
Yep, I hear you. Yeah, Tatted Explorer. Hey, dude, if you're ever in Chiang Mai, hit me up. Shoot me a message or shoot me a DM on Twitter. We'll grab coffee or something. And thanks for the super chat, too. Yep. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. So Future of Food is our next channel. Got another food one here. They do education and lifestyle. The goal of the channel is to build a name and credibility as authority in my industry, educate and inspire, and brand sponsorships. And the question is, I was experimenting with this channel since early this year, but decided to put it on pause until I recently carved out my message. I'll be relaunching this week with my first talking head video. My channel, Future of Food with Chef Kelly. Totally willing to drop the with Chef Kelly if you think it's too long. I think it's okay. The Future of Food, you know, tells the trick or, you know, does the thing. The with Chef Kelly, I mean, technically you could just put that in your videos and introduce yourself. You know, hey, I'm Kelly. Welcome to, you know, whatever this particular video is, you know, whatever the thing is. But you could just save that for your video if you did want to make it a little bit tighter. But let's see here. Been in the food industry for 20 years. Let's see here. Oh, I'm backing up. I lost my place. Okay, totally willing to drop the with Chef Kelly. If you think it's too long, we'll focus on sustainability and technology in the food industry. 20 years as a corporate chef gives me a unique insider look and also brings some validity to my content. For instance, my first long form video, 30 minutes, is a deep dive into the Kellogg's artificial dye controversy, where I uncover some little known insider facts and offer a clear call to advocate if you see fit. Other videos will feature AI's influence on food, new technology in kitchens and cooking and stuff like that. Okay, so you're not like, you know, making like food per se. You're like educating people on the industry. That's pretty cool.
Love it.
Yeah. So here, a lot of people don't understand my concept. I'm stuck between B2B and B2C, and also because I don't sell anything. So I guess my questions are, any last minute must-dos before I launch? Yeah, like, you know, of course, focus on, you know, getting the content out, making good content that serves your viewers, all that good stuff. But I would definitely, if you're not monetizing in any other ways, I would definitely be trying to think about, you know, how to do that. With what it is that you're doing, you're probably going to be pretty wide open for sponsors, you know, once you start getting some traffic on your videos, if you're not already. So I would definitely try to, you know, monetize once you kind of hit the ground running, so to speak. In other ways, not just YouTube ad revenue, but, you know, through sponsorships, maybe affiliate marketing, that kind of stuff, depending on the conversation. And then the second part of this was, can my content be enough for now to grow and potentially capture sponsorships? That's funny. Instead of selling a course or product. And you say no shade. I don't have a course, so it's fine. Yeah, no shade at all. Says, I really just want to build a core audience through know, like, and trust advice. Yeah. So the very first thing is you got to get in motion, right? You got to get back on the horse. You got to start making content on a regular basis again, so that, you know, the people that are interacting with your content, for the people that are exploring, they, you know, will hit your channel and they'll see that you're uploading on a regular basis, which will, you know, entice them more to subscribe because they see that you have more content that they want to enjoy. So just getting back on the horse and doing that whole thing is definitely important. In addition to that, you say that you're stuck somewhere between B2B and B2C in terms of who you're wanting to reach. I would try to go for B2C because, yes, you can do B2B on YouTube, but I would go for B2C because, like YouTube is mostly consumed by, just, consumers. So because of that, I would go that route. But through that and targeting that, you will get in front of some people that would be making decisions. If you were to go B2B, you'd be getting in front of some of those people anyway, because they'd still likely be interfacing with your content. So the whole idea there is that you would be making topics about things that just have the potential for having a wider reach based on more people being interested in those things. But I think the ideas for what it is that you have, at least the one that you've already started out with in terms of the deep dive into Kellogg's artificial dye controversy, that sort of thing is great, because when it comes to that type of content, there's already people talking about that thing, right? So
could that be worded better though to reach read that again? That Kellogg's artificial dye controversy.
Oh, it's just a deep dive. That's not the title.
Oh,
it's just a deep dive into that controversy.
Okay.
So what you want to just think about is like, yeah, if I can make content that's like trending in terms of my industry, then that's cool, because some of those people might be able to kind of jumpstart that. But also making content about things that people already know about. So for example, most of the people in chat probably know about the Kellogg's brand when it comes to cereal, right? So because of that, you have that opportunity to leverage something that people are already familiar with. And when you kind of frame it in a way like, hey, this company that you already know about and that you probably have in your kitchen, they are doing these types of things to your food, that instantly is like, I better, check out, this particular video. So I think you have a lot of opportunity there if you have more content, like that. So yeah, man, I would just lean into it and, definitely look for sponsorships and try to think of who would be a good fit for what it is that you're doing. It can even be little things like, for example, if you have a, specific things that you would like to, or that you use in your kitchen, good products that you could, just mention for people that are into food that might be watching your channel, reach out to those companies and just, once you start making the content and you start getting a response to the content, reach out to those companies, let them know that you're making content and that if they ever want to work together in some way, that you're available for that, or pitch them an idea. Hey, I'm working on this video. It's about this. These are all the talking points of that particular video. I think it would be a great fit, to add your product to this particular video because of the people that are going to be watching this video are going to be, a perfect target based on my understanding of who it is that you're trying to target. If this is something you're interested in, let me know, right? So I would definitely try to start walking down that road. Next up, we got Demente Con Mochila. I think is how you say that. Mohila. They do. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. Do you do though?
I don't see it.
Yeah, Demente Con Mochila.
I don't know. Ask the question.
All right. So female to solo travel. The goal of the channel is to grow female travel community and show the world. The question is, I just uploaded a video that I worked so much on. I honestly believe it's good and fun. Retention isn't great and had great feedback, but YouTube is not showing it. Barely 1,000 impressions. What do I do? Thoughts, D?
How old's your channel? What's her? Did you look?
I have not looked.
Yeah, what's the name of the channel? I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look at the channel.
So they've been making videos for less than 6 months. Okay. So that's how old the channel is.
What's the channel name? I just want to. Is it like one video up?
But yeah, this channel it's like there's a lot here in terms of the channel name, so it's not going to be easy to type in. Demente Con Mochila. So yeah, good luck with that on typing it out.
Yeah, Demente Con Mochila. Okay.
Oh, you got it. Yes, there are 1,000 subscribers, almost. We got 40 videos on the channel just to make sure we're looking at the same thing. You got it?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Oh, they're traveling around.
Yeah, it's also it looks like it's in Spanish or something too, so I'm not sure. Like you're going to have to read that one.
So what's okay? So they've been going.
Yeah, so basically, uploaded video, retention's good, great feedback, but YouTube is not showing it to people. There's barely 1,000 impressions. What do I do?
If you've got barely 1,000 impressions, and I'm skimming through your channel right now, your thumbnails look really interesting. It's possible because I don't speak Spanish well enough to understand your titles in a way like that. But it's possible that you're not packaging what it is that you're making in a way that appeals to a broad audience. So YouTube might not know what to do with it. If your channel is in English, I could be able to read this a little bit better.
So here's some food for thought. You've got a video on here a month ago. It's got 3.1 thousand views on it. Your video after that,
7.8 thousand 3 months ago. In the thumbnail alone, I don't know what your title says, but your thumbnail alone, it looks like you're talking about ticket prices. Like, I don't even speak. I'm not even like trying to read your title, but I'm just looking at the thumbnail, and it's pretty self-explanatory to me what's going on in the video. Pretty close.
So some food for thought for you is go into the videos that have done well. Go and look at when they had a similar amount of impressions and see what the videos look like at that point in time. That's not going to be like it's not going to be like a certainty thing, but it's just going to give you like a general idea. As a part of that, also go and look at the traffic sources for that particular video when you first launch the video to see, like let's say 7 days, how many impressions did it have? What was your click-through rate on those videos from the different traffic sources of YouTube? You can find this in your advanced analytics under traffic sources, and see if you can, find that, thing to where you're like, oh, okay, well, this one's doing, better because people are responding to it better in these particular ways. The reason that you want to do this type of exercise when, you have a video that's underperforming compared to other content that you published is because this is going to help you just kind of look for anything that might be glaring in terms of like, oh, okay, people aren't clicking on this one half as much from the homepage as they were from this other one. So is it the topic? Is it the thumbnail? Is the title? Do I need to redo the title? It just kind of helps you identify things like that. YouTube also has in your advanced mode analytics where you can directly compare video to video, and you can compare them against each other for certain date ranges and things like that to just kind of help give you better insights there as well. But I would definitely use all of those just to get an idea of if there is underperformance in the video. In addition to that, go and you haven't had a lot of impressions on it yet. You've only had 1,000 impressions, so because of that, you don't have tons to work with. But I would definitely go in and I would start looking at how the video compares to other videos on YouTube, which you can see in your audience retention reports. Go and look in the audience retention reports for the 130 people that have responded to it and just see how they are responding to it. And then you can do a similar thing with date range when it comes to your audience retention reports as well to just kind of compare it against something else that has performed better. When you do that type of thing, it starts to just helps you paint a picture on like, okay, people respond better when I do these types of things, like we did in these higher performing videos compared to the way that I might have done it here. But at the end of the day, also think about how important the topic is on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I can't read what it is that your title says here.
It's always tricky when it's in another language.
Yeah. But since I can't read that, and even if I could, I don't know, your audience, specifically. So because of that, you want to think about, okay, if I am, I lost my train of thought there. Because one thing I just noticed here is I see it looks like you're doing travel content, but then right down here, it looks like you're also doing something about house sitting. So another thing just to keep in mind that could be hurting you here is, and again, this is hard because I can't read what it is that you're doing. I'm just going to pull this up, D, just so everybody can kind of play along here.
You mean to pull it up?
Yeah, I'll get it right here in a second. Share screen. Let's go here. Share and add. Okay.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. So right here. And again, this is in another language, so maybe somebody in the chat can help. But basically, like if I look at this video right here, this looks like a travel video to me. Let me change the color here. This looks like a travel video to me. This looks like a travel video. This looks like a travel video. This looks like a real estate video. And because it says something about like house sitting, I see that in English. It seems like there might be like a disconnect here with that particular video itself. And I'm not sure if you're doing that a lot or not. So one thing to keep in mind that is really helpful when it comes to YouTube is if you are trying to reach people that are interested in travel, making sure that all of the content, is relevant to those people that are interested in the travel. And the reason that's important is because YouTube is going to recommend your content to people that are engaged within your channel already. So if YouTube is going to recommend your content to them, you need to make sure that those videos that you're publishing are relevant to the people that are already interacting with the channel, right? So because of that, I would just make sure, if you're not doing this already, it's just, what I'm looking at could be misleading because again, the language thing. But if you are mixing up content like that, I would just be, mindful of that and make sure that everything that you are publishing is relevant to the people that you're trying to reach. Let's see here. So next up on the list, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about all things YouTube related. From time to time, I actually put the thing we're talking about on the screen. But if you have a question about anything that you're doing on YouTube, anything you're trying to figure out or learn, I have a form down in the description. It's also pinned at the very top of the chat. Make sure that you put your question in there, and we'll get it answered on the stream today, or we'll try.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best. So D, as a matter of fact, since while we're doing our best, it's we're on number 14. If you're keeping track.
I'm counting.
Okay, good.
And this would be question number 14.
Okay, perfect. Yep, you nailed it, man. You're like paying attention. So Learn Spanish World, they upload 1 time per week or more. They do educational content. The goal of the channel is to bring meaningful value to my community as I dedicate myself to becoming a full-time creator. And the question is, I need to update my tax information for YouTube as a non-US citizen. Do I need to submit a new form, or is there a way to inform YouTube that my status hasn't changed? Yeah, you just go and you resubmit the one that's already in there if the status hasn't changed. So they have a, let's see here. I think that I put that information. I actually shared it in last week's stream. I dropped a link into the chat. So you can probably just scroll through real quick and try to find it, or maybe do, Control F and look for HTTPS or something like that in order to, see if you can find it. But I dropped a link to that in last week's stream for this. I would just go through that, and that also explains, like, if nothing has changed, all you have to do is just resubmit the form, and then you're good to go. Chatty Cathy. Love that channel name. The type of channel is I'm pivoting. The goal of the channel is just learning. And the question is, I watched your video, never do these things on YouTube ever. In that video, you were talking about never unchecking the box for notifying your subscribers unless for a clear reason. I know the best practice is to leave it to go to your subscribers, but those are viewers who will most likely enjoy your content. But can you tell me the instances where you'd want to uncheck that box? I'm a firm believer that when YouTube gives us an option/features to use them, thank you both. It's a great approach. Yeah, absolutely. YouTube gives us, features for a reason. Some of them have more, importance than others. Some of them can help you, and some of them can hurt you if you use them inappropriately, like this particular feature. So somewhere it got started a myth to where people were sharing information, YouTube help channels were sharing information saying that if you uncheck that box, that your videos will do better on YouTube. And I think that was taken out of context, because I had a friend of mine that made a similar video, and he mentioned in that video that you only do that in these very specific situations. But I think maybe people just got the cliff notes. Maybe they had ChatGPT just rip a transcription and then just kind of repackage that through a ChatGPT script. I don't know. But this whole thing started to where it started being a hack on YouTube, to where, by the way, never click on a video that has hack in the title. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure when you click on those videos, by the way. But when it says, when people are framing it as a hack, people are clicking on that, and the content creators that are sharing this information, they're saying that if you uncheck that box, just giving everybody context here, they say that if you check that, or you uncheck that box to notify your subscribers, that your videos are going to go out to a completely different audience, and it's not going to go out in front of your subscribers. So therefore, it's going to give that video more potential in terms of the reach of that video. However, when you uncheck that box, the people that are engaged in your channel are still likely to get recommended that content, which is also something to remember. They just won't get the actual notification for that piece of content. So it's still going to get recommended to them. It's just they're not going to get an actual notification to it. So there's that. But when it comes to using that feature, the place that you'd want to use that feature is if you publish something that isn't a good fit for your subscribers. Like, let's say you're like, man, I just got to get this thing off of my chest. Like, I just want to rant about this. I want to rant about, this election that's coming up.
Let's rant about that.
Hold on. Then in that particular case, what you could do is you could say, okay, I want to get this off my chest, or, we're doing this other thing and I just want to let people know about it. Then that's where you might want to uncheck that box, because it's not necessarily worth sending that notification to where your most engaged viewers would be like, oh, they just published a video, I need to go check it out, right? So because of that, you'd want to check it in that particular instance. Another instance where you might want to check that particular box is, like, let's say that you are doing something just like as an experiment. Like, let's say you are publishing a video to your channel, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to publish this here and just kind of check the encode settings and things like that, which you should do privately or unlisted anyway. But let's say you're like, hey, I just want to do it publicly and just see kind of what happens to it there. Then in that case, make sure you uncheck that box. So again, they don't get that notification because you're going to be deleting the video or something like that anyway. But basically, if it's something that isn't perfect fit for your subscribers or a good fit for your subscribers, then that's where you'd want to check that. But just think about it like this. If I was subscribed to my YouTube channel and I got a notification about this particular video, would I be likely to go and, watch that particular video? If the answer to that is yes, then, you should probably leave it on. If the answer to that is like no, because that has nothing to do with what I would watch my channel for, then that's the type of thing that you might want to uncheck that box for. But again, keep in mind, all it does is turn off the notifications. They still can get recommended that content. It just turns off the notifications for the video. For them.
I think we should talk about the U.S. election for about 30 minutes.
Oh, goodness. I think people have probably had enough of that.
Let's just burn the whole thing down. Listen, Americans, good luck.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, Americans. We're watching from afar.
Yep.
We should do like a
November 5th live stream.
We should
put the stats right up here.
We should,
so we can have half the chat going like yes, 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 and the other half of the chat thinking that everybody's lying about everything.
We should.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We should.
Yeah,
and we can call it like
that's not real. That's not real.
We call it like stop the steal stream.
Yep, it's good.
Something like that.
Goodness,
or whatever you guys call it over there.
Goodness,
I think they're kind of funny. Like people not in the United States covering the U.S. election.
Yeah, right. That's one of my favorite things. People like because we live abroad, so we're not in America. We're not in the U.S.
We're not in the U.S. We're not into politics.
Right.
Don't care which side of the fence you're on. Just for full disclosure.
Yeah.
Don't
so
care.
You're all welcome here. So when it comes
to not everybody's welcome. I mean.
Oh goodness.
Let's talk about those people for a moment. No, go ahead.
So here, because it's a tourist area and things like that. So you might be at Starbucks, you have a conversation with somebody that's not from the States. So they'll start talking about U.S. politics. They'll get all heated about it and everything, and it's like, why are you relax? It's not.
Last week we were eating dinner. We were at a restaurant. It was a quite large restaurant. We were on one side of the restaurant. And there were a couple of American
yelling at each other.
A couple of American dudes who we see they're here. They live here.
Yeah, they live here.
They were on the
normally they're chill. One dude's like a monk essentially.
They were on the absolute opposite side of the restaurant, and everyone could hear them arguing back and forth about U.S. politics. We were just laughing. They're like, they don't even live there.
Right.
Like they don't even live there.
Right.
They've lived here for many years, and they're over there literally fighting. Yep. About what's happening.
Raising their voices. It was disrupting the whole area.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's great.
People get really heated about that.
Yeah. They say, what is it? Politics and religion. There's one other thing, too, and I can't remember what it is, but politics and religion are supposed to be those things that you just don't talk about because people get so heated.
Well, probably how to evade taxes, maybe.
Yeah, but we'll know that, I think everybody can get on board with that. But I'm just saying, things that people get heated about.
Don't talk about money laundering.
Well, it's just not things you're not supposed to talk about. It's things that get people heated.
Like running a sweatshop in Southeast Asia. How you make your real money. Just come clean.
Inquisitive Win Podcast says, Nick, I'm editing videos for this podcast. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Says, Nick, I'm editing videos for this podcast, which I love. How can we move things? Any advice would be grateful. Many thanks, James. So you're editing videos for a podcast, which you love. How can we move things? Any advice? If you mean by move things in terms of growing your podcast on YouTube, let's talk about that. So let's see here. Let me change this. Growing.
SMA Sky says politics, religion, Star Wars, and Star Trek.
Yeah, right?
There it is.
Yeah. And Game of Thrones is probably in there somewhere too.
There you go.
Yeah. That's good.
Yep. And somebody said politics, religions, and not subscribing to Nick Nimitz' channel.
Yeah, that's what
one. You don't talk. Yeah, it's what you don't talk about.
Yeah, Drew says sports is the third one. Yeah, that'll get everybody cooking too.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
Here's the thing I don't understand about sports. I played sports when I was younger. I understand the entertainment value and the competitive nature of playing sports, and I can understand watching a good match. But I don't understand when
good old contest,
a
competition
about it, a match. Yeah, doesn't matter what it is. Shot putting, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, baseball. Doesn't matter.
Rope climbing.
Yep. Synchronized swimming. Whatever. Yep. I support it all. Snowboarding, skateboarding, Special Olympics. I'm there all day long.
Yep.
What I don't understand.
Pole vaulting. You pole vaulted.
I did. I was a pole vaulter.
He was a pole vaulter. He was in track. He was a football player.
I don't understand, like, when people win. They win
and destroy a city.
Yeah, like, our team won, therefore we're going to celebrate by rioting and burning cars and flipping cars upside down.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's passion. That's what that is.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine somebody standing for you so much that they're willing to go and, like, destroy property over it?
Right.
It's not because they lose, it's because they win.
Right.
We won. We're going to go burn stuff.
Right.
Like cars and houses and shops and break windows and fight.
Yep.
Because we won.
Yep.
Yeah.
So back on track here about growing a podcast on YouTube. So here's some things to think about. So the very first thing is, yes, absolutely, you can just, take your, audio and upload that to YouTube. But, since YouTube is, video experience, I do recommend making sure you have video. I'm assuming that you do for the rest of what we're going to talk about. So the very first thing is, of course, make your podcast available in long form. Make sure that you do that on a channel. Make sure that that particular channel is dedicated to that particular podcast, and you are only putting that podcast on that channel unless you have other content there as part of the brand. In that particular case, you can experiment with putting the podcast on that channel and see how people respond to it. If they don't respond well, that's where you would move it over into its other channel. You want to make sure that you do not use like templated thumbnails when it comes to your podcast. You want to optimize your podcast thumbnails and titles just like you would if you were uploading a regular video about anything else. So when it comes to podcasts, a lot of people will optimize their titles around the name of the show, and then they'll put information after that. So for example, in this live stream right now, this was a podcast, which we do have the podcast version available, by the way. If you are watching this, but you typically listen, you can get it on all the platforms for podcasts. But from a YouTube perspective, I have the title around this around learn how to grow your YouTube channel. Okay. Now, the mistake that a lot of podcasters would make is instead of doing that, they would say Nimin Live, episode, 32 or episode 300 and, whatever. So the problem with that is if I did Nimin Live episode whatever, well, the only people that is relevant to is the people that already know what Nimin Live is. Okay. Same exact thing with the thumbnail. If I put my logo big in the thumbnail and then I have my face in there, and then I have it Nimin Live, episode, whatever. And then after that, I have, grow on YouTube or whatever. In that particular case, then I at least have the grow on YouTube stuff in there. But in order to get to that, I have to grab their attention, which I can't do because they just see my logo and my face. So again, they have to know me and they have to know what this is or one or the other in order for that to matter to them. Then when it comes to the title, before they get to the part that's relevant to them, which is the grow your channel side, they have to read through the Nimin Live episode, whatever, and all of that. So because of that, a lot of podcasters make the mistake of focusing on making the podcast easy to find for people that are already interacting with the podcast, but making it difficult for new people to come into the podcast based on it being of something of interest for them. So because of that, when it comes to your podcast, what you want to think about is, okay, how can we package this up around the conversation? Like, what do we talk about the most in this conversation? Is there any way that we can write a title around one singular, like, overarching thing that we talked about during, this particular show? Even if you talk about a handful of things with the show, try to, have some type of theme that goes along with it so that you can package things around that. So when it comes to the imagery, you can absolutely have yourself in there. You can have your logo in there too, but you just don't want that to be the focal point, right? You want the focal point to be stuff that will help people identify that show has something to do with something that they might be interested in, okay? The next thing is make sure that you are formatting that show for YouTube. A lot of podcasters will do podcast first, which is fine. But when you do the podcast first, when you're uploading it on YouTube, it may or may not be formatted well for the YouTube experience. So on YouTube, for the audio side of YouTube and the podcast area, people definitely, will just, sit back and listen. But when it comes to the video side of YouTube, it's a little bit different. So because of that, you have to be intentional in terms of, are we trying to just reach people over on the audio side, or are we also trying to get people to engage with us on the video side where they're actually watching the show versus just listening to the show? In that particular case, that's where you want to start thinking about how the show is actually formatted. When you start the show, do you have some big long intro like a lot of podcasts have, or do you have a real hook and then you don't waste much time getting into the actual, content, introducing your guest and, all that stuff, right? So want to think about that flow and how you can make it as appropriate as possible for the video side. If you're trying to, get traffic on the video side. Next, you want to experiment with uploading either to that channel or to another channel, short form vertical content. Now we have the option to do that up to 3 minutes. And those are starting to go into the short shelf now slowly. But that's going to be on full, shorts feed mode here by the end of November. So uploading YouTube shorts with clips of different highlight points of your live stream is another great way to bring attention to your podcast as well. For this, you can use a service called Opus Clip. That's what I use for this particular thing and a lot of other content creators. But basically the idea is you just take your podcast, you can take the clip that's already on YouTube and upload it in there, or you can take your finished video and upload it into there if you want higher quality so that you don't get YouTube compression plus, that, so that you can get like the full quality of the show. You also have the option to upload your full video in there. It'll make a bunch of different clips for you. And then you can download the XML file. So then you can just do the edits, do additional editing if you want to make it all faster inside of like Adobe Premiere or something like that, or DaVinci Resolve or whatever. So, so basically what you want to do is you want to take those vertical videos and then you want to experiment with them on the main channel and see if people start crossing over. If they do, cool. If they don't, then in that particular case, you can still continue to do that as having one outlet that you're putting your clips on to where you are, getting yourself in front of people in the shorts feed. And that's your way to get in front of people that might not have clicked on the show in the first place, to introduce them to you and get them familiar with your personality. Then you also want to consider starting another YouTube channel that you put additional vertical content on. And the whole purpose of that one is you take the stuff for the main channel, that's like the best of the best. And then for the other channel, the whole thing with that one is it's still good. Like, you don't want to just throw garbage on there, still good content, but that content over there, same exact thing. It's different clips, but it's from the same show. So because of that, you can start that additional channel, have that as just a clips channel for it. And you can put vertical clips there. You can put horizontal clips there, which you can also get out of Opus Clip, by the way. But you can put landscape horizontal videos up there too, up to, I think it's 15 minutes, but you can do shorter ones too. So you can upload there as well. And what you do is you create that particular channel that is essentially awareness, right, about the brand and helping you get in front of more people. And then while you're publishing your full length shows over on your main channel, and you are also doing the short form content on the main channel as well to bring additional attention to that main channel. But the whole idea is you're using the vertical content and the shorter content to bring attention to what it is that you're doing for the people that don't have an hour, right? If your podcast is an hour long, for the people that've got 5 minutes while they're on the bathroom, people that have, a minute or 3 minutes while they're waiting for somebody, or just while they're on the sofa, sitting there kind of, going through it while they're watching something else or whatever. So the idea with the vertical is to just get in front of people that might not have clicked. And then you still have the long form content that is the actual show on your main channel. And then you can also put, longer clips that are landscape, and same exact thing, you got to package them, appropriately and all of that in terms of, topic, title, and thumbnail. But basically you put those over there to, to give a taste to people of your podcast. So hopefully that helps.
A small sample, if you will. Hey, you got a super chat from Andrew Can.
Super chat.
Andrew Can says, thanks for all you both do. Thank you, Andrew Can, my man.
You.
Hey, as a matter of fact, dude, I got, once this stream ends, I have it redirecting to your stream. I can't remember the day that you have that.
Andrew's going live today?
It's not today, but it's just a place where people can go and they can hit the reminder button.
Oh.
MS Puff Creative Corner, thank you for the super chat as well. Says, I want to express my gratitude for the amazing free information you guys provide. Your channel is incredibly informative and never a dull moment. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah, we try hard to make sure that we get through as many questions as we can, and we try to make it kind of entertaining as well. And I try hard to kind of stay on track, and he tries hard to kind of get us off track. So
Yes.
it kind of works out.
Yes.
So next up on the list, and
exactly it.
D, we're on 16 in case you're paying attention. Her Hill Review.
Definitely not.
Uploads 1 time per week or more. They do movie and TV reviews. The goal of the channel is building a community of movie lovers. And the question is, how do you gauge if your topic is relatable or clickable? What do you use? I use my understanding of the people that I make content
Yes.
for. That's what I use.
Yes.
So in terms of, when I make a video about something, sometimes it's just something that, that I see people talking about on Reddit. or a Facebook group or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I need to make a video about this just to kind of, make sure people are thinking about this in the right way, or at least people that are watching my videos are thinking about it the right way, to make sure that, people aren't getting the wrong information or like whatever the thing is. Like, it'll be that, or it'll be to where people are asking a lot of similar questions during this live stream. Because, like when you fill out the form for this, all of those are being logged, right? So then that can kind of give me an idea of, like, okay, how long have, a lot of the live stream viewers been on YouTube? What questions are people asking a lot right now, right? Some of that gets modified by the topic of the stream. So for example, if I call this stream like how to get more subscribers, then in that particular case, I'll get more questions related to that, or how to get more views. It'll be related to that. If I do a stream where we mention money in the title in some way, it'll be, it'll be kind of skewed in that direction too. But overall, it gives me a lot of information on the things that creators are dealing with, right now. So then that gives me the opportunity to, to make that content for people. So in the past, one thing that I used to do is I would go, real heavily on the search side. And with that, I would just do keyword research. So I would use TubeBuddy to go and find, keywords that, content creators are looking for a lot, or keyword phrases. And then I would just make videos about those things. And that was a great way to, get my videos to show up in search. I got a lot of videos that still show up in search and bring in viewers, every single day. And, doing that type of research was great, because then I say, okay, if people are searching for this, let me make a video for this. And then that will, get me in front of those people and, help them solve that problem at the same time. So, when it comes to the topic being relatable or clickable, think about your viewers, what it is they care about. And you can see a lot of that in, communities around what it is that you do. Like, I cannot stress enough, even though it might seem like it's a waste of time. Like, I spend a stupid amount of time on Reddit and like the new YouTubers subreddit. I'm either posting in there, or I'm just, trolling, or not trolling. Well, I'm trolling too. I do that a little bit too, but it's mostly posting or lurking. That's the word I was looking for, not trolling. But I do those in like the partnered YouTube group. I do it in the new YouTubers group. I do it in our YouTubers. But basically, I'm in those groups. I'm lurking all the time. Yeah, Nick the troll. But I'm lurking all the time in like all the different Facebook groups, like Brian G. Johnson's Tube Ritual group, Tom Nash's YouTube Creators group. We have a group, YouTubers and Video Makers, I think is the name of it. Daryl Eves has a group, Creators Helping Creators. And I'm in all these, creator-focused groups. And it just kind of helps me be like, okay, that plus what's happening in live streams, plus my comment section and all of that, like what's going on, what are people thinking about, is there anything that anybody's talking about that I need to make a video about that I've never made a video about before, those types of things. So I cannot stress enough that whatever type of content that you make, if it's pop culture content, like in your particular case, I would be in Facebook groups and subreddits around movies. Movie reviews, if they get that specific in the groups, right? Like I would be in those particular communities. If I was making videos about crafting, then I would be in all the crafting groups. I'd be in all the crafting subreddits, maybe even like Discord groups, because I'm in a lot of Discord groups for YouTubers too. If I was making videos about woodworking, I would be in all those groups. If I was making videos about making music, I would be in all of those groups. So the thing with doing that is that helps you, one, come up with good video ideas that resonate with the people that you're, serving with your content. And that can also help you, see things that you might not normally see because you're paying attention, right? Like, all of a sudden I noticed that, people are talking about this particular thing, like the whole thing about the, dates being removed from videos, right? Like I started seeing that on Reddit way before I saw the post, about that being something about, a particular extension that people are using that's causing that. So when it comes to those types of things, it just helps keep you, right up to the minute of the things that, people that are watching your content are concerned about, thinking about, problems they're trying to solve, all of those types of things. Next up on the list, we've got A Punk with Toys. They upload every other day. Been on YouTube for a year or more. The type of channel is adult collectible toys, G.I. Joe, Marvel, Star Wars, etc. The goal of the channel is to grow my audience in this space. And the question is, this week I got a false copyright strike that I used a promotional picture from a toy company. I reached out to the owner, he's in our community, and he said that he did not authorize this, nor did he know who this person is. Other independent toy companies associated with him also said they had no clue who he was. I asked him to remove and again, no response. And when I contacted YouTube, they just came back saying that they have no way of knowing who is right, so they can't remove it, even though I provided all this information to them. I believe that it was just an automated response, but my question is, how do I fight this? I don't want people to be able to just strike me, as I'm very outspoken, and it rubbed people the wrong way. Okay, so first I would reach out to Team YouTube on X. Or Twitter, whichever way you call it. But I'd reach out to Team YouTube there. They'll help you get that sorted. Two, YouTube also has a specific area for copyright-related things, so make sure that you're dealing with them there, which I'm assuming that you are. And when it comes to this sort of thing, like just sending them a message and saying that, hey, this person in my group gave me permission to use this, that's not enough for them to be like, oh, okay. But if you are like, hey, I have this license to use it, then it's a little bit different, because then it's like, okay, they literally have this license that they uploaded, and we can now see that they have permission to use this, right? So it's a little bit different. So I would, if you believe that you have permission to use that because you did get it from that person, and you trust that person is being honest with you, then in that particular case, you do have the option to where you can dispute that that copyright strike. The downside, just as a heads up, this should be a lesson to everybody here in terms of, this content creator. They're making content about toys, and they got a copyright strike from using a photo in their video that they didn't have the right to use, or they got permission verbally to use, but they don't have anything to actually say, any proof to say, like, yeah, I actually have permission to use this. So I just want to put a spotlight on that for a second and just remind you that if you are making content, you're using images from Google, Google Images, you're using any images that you don't have the right to, you might run into, this particular problem. So make sure that you're getting your images, that you're either taking them yourself or that you're getting them from a stock company that you actually can get the license for the images from, or that you're getting them from someplace like Wikipedia, where you also have licensing information that you can get and download from there. Let's see here. So Bencrest Marksman is our next channel. And hey, D, in case you're paying attention, we are now on number 18. So they upload one time per week or more, been making videos for 1 year or more. They do sports shooting and how-to guides. The goal of the channel is to create side income. And the question is, can you please give your advice on the titles and thumbnails that improve, on titles and thumbnails that improve CTR? Yeah, so if you want to improve your CTR, help like with your titles. In your case, you're doing sports shooting and how-to guides. As long as your how-to guides are about, the same topic, then in that particular case, I would use imagery that helps people that are into that type of content identify that your content is about those things. So when it comes to that, go look at other channels that are successful that are making similar content and see the type of imagery that they're using in their thumbnails. That's working for that community. So therefore, you should follow suit and do similar things, but your own, version, your own images, all that stuff. When it comes to the titles themselves, keep in mind that when it comes to the title and your thumbnail, the topic is also going to have a huge impact on your click-through rate. So for example, you can have an amazing title. You can have an amazing thumbnail. But if the topic isn't of interest, then neither of those things matter, because people don't care about, what it is that the video is actually about. So because of that, you have to make sure that you first start at, if you want to improve, the amount of people clicking on your content, the very first step is like, okay, I'm getting ready to make this video about sport shooting content. So if I'm getting ready to make that video, then in that particular case, these are the video ideas that I have. Out of these video ideas that I have, which one of these, or which of these ideas are likely to reach the largest segment of my audience, the people that are, the most interested in what it is that I'm doing. For all those people, which of these particular topics are going to be the most likely to, reach the broadest amount, the most amount of those people? Slide those over into the I'll probably make these videos, or I'm going to make these videos section. And then from there, for each one, think about, okay, so if this is the one that I think a large amount of people around my niche are going to be interested in, then how, before you make the video, how am I going to grab their attention on a homepage? Okay, so if it shows up on a homepage, I need to grab their attention. What am I going to do? Okay, so somebody that's interested in sport shooting is probably interested, or would probably identify a target of some kind, maybe One of the other things, of some kind, which I'm not going to say, because we're here on YouTube. I just want to, but anyway, how are they going to, maybe I can use one of those things or both of those things in the thumbnail. How can I make it clear? How can I make it, kind of stand out in terms of maybe the style, so that it's just super obvious that this content is about that particular thing, so that when it shows up on somebody's homepage, they're like, bam, straight to that, because it's something that they're interested in and they're actively watching content on. And then from there, for the title, all your title is, it's a reflection of the topic of the video, or a way that you express the topic of the video in combination with the thumbnail. So then for the title itself, when you're writing the title, think about, and this is what you want to think about, before you, again, both of these things you're thinking about before you even commit to the video. You want to think about, okay, if this is what I'm going to use for the thumbnail, then what am I going to, what am I going to write the title? And when it comes to the title, you want to think about, okay, if somebody were to see this on YouTube's homepage, then what about this title, again, would help them, kind of reinforce that this video is about that thing. And then what about this title is also going to be compelling for that viewer, so that if they're really interested in this subject, it's going to be a piece of content that they're going to think like, oh, I need to watch this video. Versus like, oh, that seems like it might be interesting, but I'll check it out later. I'm going to go watch this instead, right? So first get that together. Once you get that together and you have like some strong stuff there to where you're like, yeah, okay, these are the things I'm going to use in my thumbnail to help them identify it. This is how I'm going to help my thumbnail kind of stand out. Maybe it's colors, things like that. And then this is what my title is going to be. This is why it's compelling. This is why I think this packaging in terms of the thumbnail and title are going to grab somebody's attention. And this is why I think it's going to cause them to click. Once you get through that process and you qualify that, then you go off and you make the video. And then from that, then of course in the video itself, then you start matching all that on the way in terms of, just kind of confirming that expectation that you created from the outside. But that's a whole other conversation. But in terms of increasing your click-through rate, those are the things that you want to start thinking about when it comes to your thumbnails and your titles and your topics of your videos. Let's see here. Next up, we got Jazz and Laughter. They do artistic and inspirational content. The goal of the channel is to inspire and get people to look at things in life from a different perspective. The question is adding text to your thumbnail really important? I see a lot of YouTubers who have no text on their thumbnails and their videos do fine. So when it comes to adding text to your thumbnails, the thing that you want to think about, text to thumbnails, the thing that you want to think about is if you are adding text to your thumbnails, does that text help tell the story in some way? So for example, in your case, you're doing artistic and inspirational content. So therefore, if it's artistic and it's not like super clear what the content of the video might be, then you can leverage the thumbnail text in the thumbnail and use that in combination with the title to help grab somebody's attention so that they'll read the title, right? Because maybe the imagery that you're using isn't crystal clear since it is more, artistic and inspirational content. So the idea is to, one, test it with your audience, right? Because YouTube has the testing feature now, so you can say, okay, I'm going to have thumbnails with text, I'm going to have thumbnails without text, I'm going to see which one people click on more. And then I'm going to do that for the next video, the next video, the next video, the next video, the next video. After I've got a bunch of videos, then I'll start to see a pattern on typically do people click on these more or do they click on these more? It's going to start to paint a picture of what people respond to better. But the idea is that when it comes to putting text in your thumbnail, you can do it if it helps kind of support things, but it's not required in any way, shape, or form. So when it comes to thumbnails, the idea is to use things that help people identify the content about something they care about, and you may or may not need text in order to help express what's going on there. So in some cases, people will put one word. Other cases, people will put more. It just kind of depends on what you need to do there, but try to keep it to as few as possible when it comes to the amount of words you use and things like that. If you feel that you need to do something, like for example, my video that I published that's doing well right now, it's things not to do on YouTube ever. And I published that one like 2 months ago. And on that particular one, there's a lot of text in the thumbnail. But with that particular one, I'm kind of pulling the attention with the YouTube play button and the YouTube logo. And then the expression on my face is like, whoa, what's going on here? And then it has, "Dear creator, you've been banned from YouTube. Sincerely, YouTube." So it's a lot of text, but the way that it looks and the way that it's designed, it actually looks like it's kind of like a letter of some kind, right? So in that particular case, I'm using those two things to grab your attention. And then the information on there is to where it's like, "Dear creator, you've been banned from from YouTube, sincerely YouTube, like, oh no, something happens, somebody got banned, what's going on? And then, those things in combination, get you to click on the video, or to at least read the title, and then, come over and click the video. Let's see here. And with that one, just to be specific, just one more thing to add to that is I'm not sure if I just had that expression and a YouTube logo by itself, I'm not sure if those two things would be compelling enough for that particular thumbnail. Like, because they never do these things on YouTube ever, like that's, that's a pretty good thing in terms of like, okay, I'm a content creator, what should I never do, right? So, that's a good message there. But in terms of, the extra story or the extra kind of oomph that, the text on that particular thumbnail gives, I personally think that it's, additive there. And I'm not sure if it would have a similar response if it was just like a play button and my surprised face, for example. But it might. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we're on number 20, D, in case you're keeping track.
I'm counting them all.
Okay. Gig-wise, they upload when they have time. Been on YouTube for a year or more. The type of channel is gig economy and all over the place. My interests. Goal of the channel?
Gig economy and all over the place. I have a hunch the all over the place could be problematic.
Could be.
Yeah.
Goal of the channel is to build my little community in the YT-verse. Question: how do I get this question form for when live streaming or on podcasts? That can be very helpful than sifting through chat for questions. Absolutely. So this form, you just go to docs.google.com/forms, and then you should be able to see something yourself. You already have a YouTube account. As a part of your YouTube account, you already have access to Google, or your Google account. You've already got access to Google Forms and all that. So all you have to do is go in there and put a form together, and it's super easy to do. So you can go that way, or you just type in Google Forms, and when you type in Google Forms, then it'll take you to the right place where you can do that.
So
but there's a couple of cool things here. Go ahead, D.
Are you seeing this pop up inside of StreamYard right now?
Having trouble streaming to X. It may be an issue on X. We'll keep trying and let you know if it's resolved. Please check X to confirm that it looks okay.
Yeah,
okay.
interesting. So if
I'll just keep it up there and we'll see what happens.
If anyone's watching from X right now, and
just let us know how it's coming through.
Yeah, we're getting a warning. I've never seen a warning like that come in.
Yeah,
that's the first time.
Yeah,
it popped up, and I was like,
oh, what did I do?
What did I touch?
Should have stayed in the other room.
Yeah. What did I do? Interesting.
But it says, how do I get this form? Yeah, so some other interesting things here, too, that you can use this for is depending on the questions that you're asking, you're going to get information on the form, too. So, like, for example, once this live stream is complete, I can go into the form and I can see, like, pie graphs around, like, how long people have been on YouTube and, like, things like that based on the specific questions that I've asked here. So you can also get, like, some fun information like that that may or may not be helpful to you. As a part of this particular form, and I'm sure there's other forms that are probably better, but as a part of this particular form, you can also download a CSV. So a cool thing that you can do here with AI now is you can start dropping all of those into one master CSV, and then you can drop that into ChatGPT for like the month, and you can say like, okay, this month what are people like talking about a lot, and then it'll start giving you a report for that too. So so you can use these in a lot of fun ways. 21D. In case you care.
Oh, I'm counting them.
Okay. So let's see. So next up, we've got Daniel Krieg again. Did we do Daniel Krieg, or was that last week?
No, he was this week too.
Okay, yeah, we'll skip this one then, since they've already asked a question.
But they asked two questions. Maybe it's a follow-up.
Yeah, possibly. Let me look real quick. Let me look real quick. Okay, let me look.
Perhaps you didn't explain yourself well enough.
Yep.
So they had to come back with a follow-up, and they said, "Look, idiot, you didn't answer my question."
So it says, I have another YouTube channel as well, meaning I can't verify this channel to upload to thumbnails. Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're going to have to skip that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I don't understand what they're asking.
Okay, so apparently over on X, it says on X that the stream is dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go.
It says that it was interrupted on live on X, and looks like it's dead.
Okay. Well,
how bizarre.
Yep.
There's an error pop up on X. I don't think we can individually
kind of do anything about that.
No. So, yeah, it's kind of like an all or nothing on here.
Interesting. Well, there's that.
There you go.
Yep. So
for everybody watching on X who wasn't watching or who can't watch now and can't hear what I'm saying, sorry. Yep. You should be on YouTube.
That's right.
That's right.
High Scores on Tap is the next channel. They upload one time per week or more. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to monetize because I was told that I could not do it. Love that.
Say that again.
monetizing because they were told that they couldn't. Somebody's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. And they're like, sleeves, cracking knuckles. Like, oh, yeah, you don't think so?
Don't think so?
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm on year 11 and I'm still not monetized, but I'm close.
Right.
Are they monetized?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it says, looking to do a 24-hour live stream to raise money for Toys for Tots using GoFundMe. Will this violate YouTube's policy?
Toys for Tots.
So YouTube actually has, I mean, you can do streams for GoFundMe on YouTube. However, they do have their own fundraising stuff as well. So you can tap into that also, where people can donate, directly on YouTube as well. So, but yeah, you can do that sort of thing. So it's fine. But as a part of, that particular live stream for raising money for Toys for Tots, you got to make sure that, everything is clear in terms of what it is that you're doing, why it is that you're raising the money, where the money's going to go. Just make sure that you give, them and your viewers enough information to where, it's clear that you're not doing anything shady or anything like that. 23D.
Raising money for Toys for Tots. Mm-hmm. But did they get monetized? That's what I want to know.
Not sure.
I don't care about the kids. I want to know, did they get monetized?
Clip that. D doesn't care about kids. No, I'm just kidding. So
don't care about the kids. I want to know if you got monetized or not. That's it. You made the statement that somebody said you couldn't get monetized. It was probably the kids. And if it was the kids that said that, I don't know why you're doing a fundraiser thing for the kids.
Yep.
The kids are trying to hold you down. Yep. You're trying to help them out. What is going on?
Yep.
Oh, they said not yet.
Nope.
They're not monetized yet.
Okay,
Thank you. That was driving me crazy.
Hey, one thing really quick
Listen.
that Andrew Can mentioned is he said 24/7 streams won't violate the terms by itself, but it depends on what's happening in the 24 streams. Source, he's ran 24/7 streams. Another thing, YouTube only keeps the video on demand for 12 hours or so in terms of the limit for the length of the live stream. Just some additional feedback there.
So they said they're not monetized yet, but they're getting close. You can do it.
You got it. You got this.
You got this.
You got this. Hang in there.
Yeah.
Yep. Always people that either don't try to do things or can't do things are always going to be the first ones to tell you that you can't.
Like the kids. And I don't know why you're trying to raise money.
So because of that, do your thing.
Yeah. No, good. You can do it.
Yep. You can do it.
Hashtag you can do it. You can do it.
Mazzy Artistry, they upload when they have time, but on YouTube for less than 6 months. The type of channel is art, lore, storytelling, family friendly with cutoff swearing for humor, but not enough that I get demonetized, even though I'm not monetized yet. Goal of the channel is to entertain my artistriers, viewers and subscribers with my incredible lore and art. And one day when I get monetized, get those big bags. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about those green papers, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, got ya. Hey, Nick and D, I premiered my video on the channel. The wait is over. No more waiting. After time and time again, issues with my editor not being able to talk because of Discord screwing with us. My knowledge that it would take both finding other editors for me doing the editing way too long. So after a month since the first video, I decided to keep the raw footage. As this point, I don't want to wait anymore. I just screen recorded and revealed my character design. The name that I've kept secret for months. I'll try experimenting with this. Kind of lost my track there because this is a pretty long one. Just raw footage and a script. Let's see here. So my question is, what can I do now since I can't edit and Discord really likes to mess around with me and I can't talk to my editor? Do I just find new ones? Do I start a team of video editors? I don't know, literally for the time being on my own now. I have no idea where the Discord bot will stop, doing its thing. Sorry, this is very long. Okay, so when it comes to, having an editor, not having an editor anymore, then in that case, the only option is to either do it yourself in the meantime or to, go and try to find somebody to help. So yeah, I would absolutely, pick one of those. And in your particular case, if you don't want to do it, then yeah, you're going to have to, go and have somebody else do it. Or you could just go with raw and just not edit anything, which people do that as well. And in some cases, it works out, but you got to be really, really good on camera for that to work out well, consistently. But people do it, so you can try that. But I would, definitely try to learn how to edit and, if need be, hire somebody to help if you're generating revenue from your channel or that you're going to be able to generate revenue from it. 24D.
Yeah, the thing about editing is even if you're going to hire an editor, I highly recommend learning just the basics of editing. Because it's possible that you hire an editor and you think they're doing a good job, but they're actually not. I mean, they probably are, but you can't gauge what they're doing if you don't know how to do it yourself. So, you know, in your spare time, just learn the very basics of editing if you're going to bring somebody else in to do it for you. So you understand. So you can even communicate with them.
Yes.
Be like, oh, hey, this part needs to be a little bit tighter. Maybe you need to trim off the first, or, you know, trim 2 seconds off the beginning of this clip. So you can at least speak the lingo with them.
Yep.
You know, talk about color correction or that sort of thing. Just a little bit. Learn all the skills, even if it's at a basic level. So when you bring other people in to help, you understand and communicate with them better.
Drew Kane Gaming is our next channel. They upload when they have time, but on YouTube for less than a year. It's a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is the game I make videos for, or videos on, is one that I enjoy. So I wanted to share it with people who like that kind of game and form a community and make a fun time activity into an income source to support myself. The question is, when I started making videos, I barely knew anything about YouTube other than copyright music and stuff. So when I made the channel, I created a Gmail account with the exact same name as the channel. In a recent video of yours, you said to not have a Gmail account matching your channel name. So I'm wondering what I should do now. Should I scrap it all together and start a new channel to continue making videos, or is there a way to connect a new Gmail account? Okay, so using your, like when you create a account, then in that particular case, you know, if you have it as the same name, it's fine to have an account as the same name. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to make that account like publicly available, right? So just because your channel name says something doesn't mean that it doesn't have like a different email, or doesn't mean that it doesn't have a bunch of numbers and letters or whatever like after the name. So because of that, you know, the Gmail itself is probably fine. But the problem is people typically put that email into their business inquiry email. So basically the idea is that somebody can go to your business inquiry email, and then they can see that, and they can kind of use that as a starting point, as an account that they can try to, you know, brute force into in some way, or try to figure out, you know, how to get into, or send you emails to try to get you to click on stuff, and, you know, that kind of thing. So so that's why you don't want to do that. But you can update that email in your Google account, and when you update that in your Google account, then it will have that separation there. So yeah, so you can do that.
You can do it.
You can do it. So next up, we've got NDE Stories. They do daily content. The type of channel is faceless channel with near-death experience stories. Ooh, sounds creepy.
Interesting.
The goal of the channel is monetizing, and the question is, if the long videos audience and short audience can be very different, won't I be confusing the YouTube algorithm making both types of videos? Won't this harm the delivery of my videos to the right audience? Absolutely not. Reason that it won't is because there are two different systems that have a bridge between them. So basically, when it comes to the long form content, that gets treated in one way. When it comes to the short form content, that gets treated in one way. So if people are heavily engaged in your short form content, but they never click on your long form content, then there's a high likelihood that they're going to keep seeing your shorts. If somebody is highly engaged in your long form content, they click on the videos that you publish, and they come in and they watch your content and they enjoy it. But then when you pop up the short self, they just swipe away quickly because they're just not into the particular shorts that you're putting together. In that case, they're likely to not get, you know, your short recommendations. They'll probably still get them if they're really engaged in your long form, but it'll probably be reduced compared to the people that are highly engaged in what it is that you're doing. So so it's two different systems with a bridge between those systems. Now that bridge is probably going to get a little bit weird here because of, you know, the updates that they're having to make in order to accommodate for the longer YouTube shorts, because right now, as they're pulling in shorts, I'm assuming that, you know, during that, they're having to do a lot of fine tuning in terms of, you know, their system. So because of that, I would just, you know, expect things to possibly be a little bit weird during this, you know, transitional time. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to, you know, publish, or that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying to take advantage of the opportunity that this might be, you know, having that longer content. So I wouldn't look at it like, you know, one is directly related to the other. Look at it as they're two totally different experiences for the viewer, which is the priority of YouTube. It's not us, it's the viewers. So these are two different experiences for the viewers with a bridge between, in terms of if they're interacting with my long form content and hit my channel, then in that particular case, YouTube might show them, you know, some of my shorts, or might recommend some of my shorts on the homepage or whatever. And if they're interacting with my shorts content, then YouTube might try to recommend some of my long form content. And as long as the content that you're making is similar, you know, topically in terms of the theme, and the audience that you're trying to reach is the same for both, then in that particular case, you're fine.
What number?
We are number 26 now.
Cruising right along.
Cruising right along, yeah. So next up, we got DB Crypto Corner.
DB Crypto Corner.
They upload 1 time per week or more. Been on YouTube for less than a year. Type of channel is Web3 and crypto education and reviews. And the goal of the channel is to help educate people on Web3 and now blockchain can benefit so many industries. And it's the next evolution of the internet. Many have misconceptions about crypto, thinking it's magic internet money or a scam, which is understandable. So I want to bring the message to the masses and help educate people on the true power and benefit of this space. The question is, I primarily do long form videos lately, and I'm wondering if I can or should clip some of it into short form. And if so, can I keep the layout and post as a normal video, even if it's only 1 to 3 minutes long, or should it be converted to short form layout? So if you are going to be clipping them, you have the option to do both. So you can clip them in landscape, 16:9, or you can clip them into 9:16. So really I would think about it in terms of like where it is that you're putting them. If you're asking the question in terms of I'm going to clip them short, but then I'm going to put them to where there's like a black area on the top and a black area on the bottom, and then I'm going to have my landscape video in the middle, you can do that too. It's your call. It's just when you do the full thing, it just fills out the frame better. So you can experiment with each one and see if you find that people respond better to one compared to the other. But one thing I can tell you is if you're on a mobile device and you have that smaller one, those can do well. But you know, it's just a little bit harder to see what's going on there. So like, for example, if you were doing something where you had like a computer screen up and you were showing people something on a computer screen to where, you know, it's going to be a little bit hard to see if it's already, you know, scaled down like this on the bigger screen, then in that particular case, you might want to consider, you know, either zooming in on it in the regular landscape mode so that it's easier to see for people that are experiencing it in that vertical format, or just reformat it as vertical format. But if you're just sitting there talking, you know, whatever, then in that case, I would definitely do the regular, like vertical format, just so you can fill up the frame and you can be like right there in somebody's face when they scroll up.
All up in their face.
All up in their business.
The business.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nikki, how you doing?
Next up, we've got OG Scion. They have a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to show people what games I'm good at and to help them out with a video game. And the question is there any tips you can give me to hit my first ever 500 subscribers? And is there a video that I should do more videos on based on my views and likes? So I'm not going to look at your channel, but what I can tell you is that I do have tips for you to hit your first 500 subscribers.
I've got a tip to get your first 500 subscribers.
Okay, yeah, Dee's got this one.
Yeah,
Go.
So the tip would be get 499 subscribers and then find one more.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah, that would be my tip for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dee's like, hey, I'll be here all day.
Yeah.
Keep it coming.
Yeah. Super chat's welcome. Yeah. Straight, yeah.
So when it comes to getting your first 500 subscribers, it's important to, and this probably isn't going to be exactly what you're looking for, but it's important that you hear. So when it comes to getting your first viewers on YouTube and really just your entire YouTube journey, it's important to remember that YouTube is catered to the viewers, not the creators. So when you publish videos, YouTube doesn't necessarily push your videos, which is something a lot of content creators think. YouTube actually sees a viewer come onto the platform, and then the system is like, okay, based on the content that's available on the platform, the content that this person is interacting with and all that stuff, what would be a great fit for this person right now, and let's show it to them. And all this happens in like, you know, a millisecond or whatever. So because of that, when you have that understanding, the most important thing to remember is that you are making content for other people. And because of that, YouTube gives us information inside of our YouTube channels that lets us know how people are responding to what it is that we're doing. So since we're making content for other people, it's advantageous if you want to grow your YouTube channel and you want to, they have 500 subscribers on YouTube. Oh, okay, you got them. Oh, okay, so never mind.
There you go.
Okay, got it. Well, congratulations if you just hit it. Congratulations. But he says, any tips to hit that 500? Okay, so you got it. So never mind. I'll shut up now.
So they followed my advice.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You're welcome.
Right? Yeah.
You're welcome.
Did it.
Yep, did it.
Yep.
Can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Hey, Moon over Miami.
What's up, dude? Cathay Fit in the house. What's going on? Hope you're doing great. Moon over Miami. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. So next up, we've got Build and Fix with Mooney. That worked out. They do 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do DIY content. He does DIY content. The goal is to share and teach. Question, Nick, here's my first experience with a long short. Would love to hear your thoughts. I uploaded my 2-minute and 14-second short, and I told a short story, hammer to the face. When I uploaded it, it showed up as a 1 and 1. 1 minute, 1 second, and showed up in my long video area with no thumbnail and looks bad. So I made a thumbnail for it. I contacted YouTube help, and they had no answer other than to try a different device. Not helpful. Long story short, what is YouTube doing? Long shorts, they're treating it like long form, and when you upload, who is this for? Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to this particular feature, YouTube has, shared, and we talked about this a little bit on the last stream and possibly the stream before, but when they made the announcement on the 15th of October, and they let everybody know that on the 15th of October, that they were going to start, doing the longer shorts. The purpose of that conversation, at least, from the information that YouTube has put out about it, the purpose of that conversation, or them saying that, was to let content creators know that as of that date, anything that they upload that is vertical and under 3 minutes long is going to qualify for that. Now, a part of that, I'm guessing, is that, if you're uploading, vertical content to your channel, which some people do, right? They upload long form vertical content just, regularly, not to try to get into the short shelf. It gives those people a heads up to say, hey, if you're doing that, then you should probably do longer videos that are longer than 3 minutes. And if you do it shorter than that, then in that particular case, then it's going to end up going into the short shelf. So I think it's part of that. And also I think that it's so content creators can kind of get, shorts ready and, that kind of stuff. Now, I think that they did kind of screw up the messaging on that, and they should have been a little bit more clear about, what was going on there, because the situation that you're dealing with is something that a lot of people have dealt with, and a lot of content creators are definitely, not thrilled about, how the whole rollout is happening. But they did say that they are going to have everything completely rolled out by the end of November. So if you're like many content creators, because I'm in the same boat, right? The same thing happened to me, not on this channel, but on another channel. So when those show up as a regular video, it definitely makes things weird on the channel, right? Definitely makes things weird. And, if somebody is expecting, like a, regular video from you, and then they see that, it's kind of like, hey, what's going on here, right? So it does make things a little bit awkward there. So if you don't want that to happen, one thing, it will go into short shelf. Yeah, that's the big question here. So he wrote in the chat, will it go into my short shelf? It will. It will go into the short shelf, and you might even see now, like if you go in there, you might see, if you go into the traffic sources, you might see that you have already gotten views from the short shelf. If not, then you will end up getting some views over there. But they are moving them over. So I have seen shorts that are, longer, or we'll just call them long shorts, I guess. I don't know.
Long shorts.
But yeah, I'll call them long shorts. But like long shorts have, they are showing up in the shorts feed in terms of traffic sources reports saying that, these are, getting shorts feed traffic. So they are absolutely getting shorts feed traffic. It's just not happening at, the scale that I think we would like to, like it to be right now, unfortunately. But, as a part of this, even though I think that the rollout was messy, I can't, I'm not sure, in terms of algorithmically, the work that needs to be done in terms of okay, as we're rolling this out, how are people going to respond to this? Are we going to destroy the short shelf with this, or are we going to kind of mess things up? So because of that, I kind of understand the rollout being weird. I just think that the messaging should have been a little bit more clear, so that everybody kind of knew what we were getting into, because myself and other creators, on the 15th and 16th, we're uploading long shorts, right? We're like, all right,
people
here we go.
People jumped the gun on it. People went for it. They're like, here we go.
Let's do it,
So, yeah.
And
YouTube's like, no, not yet.
Yeah, and YouTube's like, oh, hey, thanks for the content, but no, we're putting this on your
3 minute shorts
channel.
go. Yeah. We didn't mean now go.
Yeah, right.
We mean wait until the rollout.
Right. So I think, long shorts are pants. SMA Sky.
Pants. There you go. I love it.
Yeah, pants.
Yeah. Get your pants on.
Yep.
Get your pants out.
So with with the rollout again, definitely clunky, definitely messy. But they say that it's going to be in full function by the end of November. So if you are, in that boat to where you're a creator that's like, I don't want these showing up on my main channel page right now, then in that particular case, I would wait until the rollout is completely complete, and then you don't have to, you don't have to be worried about it. So what I would do, if I were you or anybody here that is in that situation, at the very end of November, if this is your first time in the stream, or if you only come into these streams occasionally, at the, maybe December, the first stream in December, I would swing by at that time and ask if the shell, or if they're, if it's fully functional when you publish something, if it's going in, and I'll be able to let you know at that time.
Yeah,
so then you'll know, like, okay, now's the time. I also recommend that you follow Team YouTube on Twitter, follow Renee Ritchie on Twitter, YouTube Liaison is his Twitter handle for that account. So follow that on Twitter as well. And then through both of those, you should, get that information also directly on Twitter or X.
I'm curious, everybody watching right now, do you have a Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Do you have an X account or a Twitter account? Type in yes or no in the chat. I'm curious because there's some great accounts there to follow.
Yeah.
Some really good accounts.
Yeah, there is.
Todd.
Yeah.
Right? Both Todds.
Mm-hmm.
Some YouTube employees who share interesting information.
Patty Galloway's great.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Juice is also, or Juice, I'm not sure
Yeah.
how you say the last name, but he's also awesome on Twitter.
Monique.
Okay, yeah, so you guys do have Twitter accounts. Good. Yeah, so I would definitely follow some of those. Like if you go into mine and then look at the people that I follow and start looking at some of those, then you'll find some good YouTube folks to follow there.
Yeah.
You'll have to dig a little bit, but you'll find some there.
But definitely
now in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, why'd I say that? I wonder if I'm following anything shady.
Right? Okay.
Right.
So we need to talk about this for a second. Okay, so X has this thing to where they have like like you're like when you're scrolling on your feed, you can scroll and you can hit a bookmark by like if you're just doing this and you're scrolling, they've placed the bookmark icon right where your finger goes to scroll. I have accidentally bookmarked stuff where I bookmark it.
Oh man, that's great. Thanks for the cover. I appreciate it.
And I go, well, I don't even know if bookmark.
That means go look and see who D follows and what he bookmarks.
Hold on. I don't know if bookmarks are public or not. I don't really care, but I do. I mean, I do care. That's why I panic. Like,
oh my gosh, did I just bookmark
well,
that?
because X has an algorithm and it works like YouTube where it's trying to predict what you want to watch, and it will also take interest of people that you follow and people that are like them and show you content. They've got an algorithm too. So it's constantly testing stuff. Yeah. And they've tested stuff with me and I'm just like, nope, and I'm like, nope. And I bookmark it. That's a positive signal to X. And guess what they do?
Hey, here's some more.
Yes, I have bookmarked more questionable stuff. I'm embarrassed at how many things, and it only seems to happen on questionable stuff.
Yeah,
And
gee, the odds.
And then,
yeah. I don't know. There's something about this story that I don't know.
I'm covering my butt. That's what I'm trying to do. No, you'll know what I'm talking
like
about.
right when you accidentally follow like all of those people.
No, bookmarks are private. Bookmarks are private.
Oh, okay.
But you're scrolling through there. But my point is, you accidentally hit one, and it's a positive signal that goes to X, and then they'll send you more stuff, and you're just like, no, and you accidentally hit another one. You're like, oh my god. So if anybody's working at X, all 12 employees, I think, because I think Elon fired everybody else. Yeah, move the bookmark thing to the other side. Accidentally. Yeah.
Yeah, so see here, D's last post on X was August 25th.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's super active over there if you can't tell.
I'm consuming.
Yeah.
I'm consuming on there.
Yeah, he's a lurker.
Yeah.
I'm active over there. I post there all the time. Retweet stuff, all that stuff. So make sure you follow me on X. If you haven't yet, just go look for my name over there. You'll find me over there. Always posting good stuff, retweeting good stuff, that kind of thing.
Mr. Dead Slow says, I hate the bookmark. Mr. Dead Slow knows what's up.
Yep.
See, they're in the same problem.
Nah.
They're also accidentally bookmarking questionable stuff.
Yeah.
And by questionable, I don't mean get your minds out of the gutter. I mean, it could just be like, politics. Something like, oh, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
There could be somebody posting, they're always testing some crazy violent video or some crazy thing. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want, oh, no, I just bookmarked that. I don't want to see drones dropping on people. And something. Oh, I just bookmarked it.
Yeah.
X is like, oh, I got you.
Yeah, I got you. You want some more of that? Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, some more of that? Got that all day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to see Andrew Can dressed like this. So, I'm just why am I bookmarking? Yeah, Andrew's a second account over there. Like I don't want to see Andrew dressed like a moose.
And he's dressed like a pumpkin again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want that.
No, I don't see that.
Did you say dressed like a moose? Yeah, that's good.
You don't know Andrew, do you?
So the next channel here is the dating poll roast reactions. The type of channel is humor reactions. The goal of the channel is to get more engagement. And the question is, what equipment would I need to do a call-in show? D, equipment, go.
Hold on, we're back streaming on X.
Oh, okay.
As if Musk was listening, as he usually does. What's up, Elon?
Right.
And we're streaming again.
Yep.
And Andrew says, look.
Get your stuff together. Get back on mission. You're
like,
dropping the ball. Sorry.
He's like, look, D's Moose Looks is doing great, okay?
Oh, that's great.
I've got these images in my mind. So what was the question? I'm not going to be able to unsee this visualization of Andrew running a Moose account.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, so his whole Andrew can, so tagline is like, if I can, you can too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I can, you can Moose. I don't know. Yeah, that didn't land. Okay, so that didn't work. Okay, so the question is, I guess it did work, kind of in a bad kind of way. So the question, D, is what equipment would I need to do a call-in show?
A call-in show.
Yeah.
Whew. I
got to work on my comedy.
You're going to need a computer or an iPad. You're going to need a computer or an iPad. You're going to need something like
headphones or something.
Yeah, you're going to need headphones. You're going to need a microphone. You're going to need a computer, or you're going to need an iPad. It's going to be easier to do it on a computer than it is on an iPad. However, you could do it on an iPad. A lot of touching and moving around this way. But if you're functional, like if you can get around on an iPad, you can do it on an iPad.
Yeah.
You can do it on a computer. You can use StreamYard. What's the other? You've got StreamYard. You've got
Riverside.
Riverside does that. EU Mux.
Yeah,
how do you
EV
pronounce
Mux.
that?
Yeah, EV Mux.
EV Mux can do it.
Yep, EV Mux does it.
Right.
Let's see here. What else?
So right now we're using StreamYard.
Yeah.
And let's just say you wanted to do a call-in show. StreamYard is StreamYard.com, or you can go to StreamYard.com / Do you have a?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of like string of numbers and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's StreamYard.com, and they have a single link that just says invite. You click on that, and it's going to, and I can't show you, but it's going to open up a code. It's going to be a string of, it's just going to be a URL. You copy it, and you give it to the guest that you want. They click on that link. It's going to open up in their browser. They're going to have to give their browser access to their microphone.
Well, they want to call in. They're not bringing on guests. They want to call in.
Oh, call in only.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can do that with StreamYard with audio only, or Riverside.
Yeah. So,
Riverside would probably be the one for that. Or
So other things too is
sorry, misunderstood.
We did this. I think it was pre-pandemic. I did call-in shows here. It might have been before we started streaming. Like this was like a long time ago.
Yeah, if you're audio only.
So how that worked was the Rodecaster, Rodecaster Pro is the equipment. And the whole idea with the Rodecaster Pro is it makes it kind of easy to do call-ins. So a couple different ways that you can do it. And you can do it differently now than what we did it or how we did it. And technically, you could do it that way too. But basically, you can set up a Discord account or like a separate WeChat or something like that isn't connected directly to your phone number if you got a second line. You could get a Skype in number technically and do it this way. But the idea is you would route it through the Rodecaster to where you could take that incoming call directly there through like something like Skype or, Discord if you wanted to do it free through Discord. But the problem with Discord is that you don't have a phone number. So there they would have to actually be on their computer. They wouldn't be able to call in. They would actually have to kind of message in through Discord.
You can get a Skype number for that if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could get a Skype in number, and then through that Skype in number, you would have that account, and then they would call that number, and then all you would do is you would have that browser open. You'd use the web version, or you could use the actual software version of Skype, and then you would have your Rodecaster to where you would have your in-stream audio there, and then you would be able to have your Skype going into that, or WhatsApp, or whatever the thing is, and then you would be able to do it all right there. You can kind of level it up a little bit if you have an extra, like an old phone. In that particular case, you could get a different SIM for that, or you could just connect it to your Wi-Fi and then set up your Skype account there. And then with the Rodecaster, if you want to get the hardware, which they have bigger ones and smaller ones, but with the Rodecaster, you could actually plug that phone directly in there via Bluetooth or directly, and then you could actually have a totally separate slider just for that, while also having the audio coming in from if you had music playing in the background or anything else you need to trigger. then you would have that as a separate thing to where it's only pulling in the information from your phone. But for this, you do want to make sure that you have headphones on. The Rodecaster allows you to be able to easily do something called mix minus, which means that it's going to receive that signal, but it's not going to kind of loop everything back through. So it allows you to kind of separate that call from everything else so the caller doesn't get feedback or echoes or anything like that. What were you gonna say?
When we mentioned Skype, we weren't talking about, we're specifically talking about Skype has a feature, and I think some other things have it. I think Google even has, we can get a Google phone number.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're talking about services that allow you to purchase a phone number. So if you're doing a call-in show and you want someone to be able to physically call you where they didn't want to go into, like not everybody's going to have Discord, for example. Not everybody's going to have access to this app or that app. But if you literally want to just give out a phone number and say, give us a call, you can use Google or Skype or any service like that to get an internet phone number.
Yes.
Then route that through something like a Rodecaster Pro.
Yes.
That's what he was talking about. So you can just say, hey, call into the show, give them the number, route it through your Rodecaster Pro using the mix minus.
Yes.
Into your computer, and you can do it that way. And I was just going on a tangent talking about bringing in a guest.
Yeah, I mean, that was fine, though.
I didn't catch the
You're so focused on the number of the question that we're on that you kind of removed your focus from the actual question.
I was thinking about Andrew and a moose.
Oh,
like
okay.
Jay Dresser.
Okay.
Listen, you got
that's a hard one to shake.
Listen, hashtag moose on my mind.
Yep.
Like
love it.
Yeah, you can. Andrew.
Yep. iPhone Chris, thanks for your membership over 24 months, dude. Hope you are doing well. Thank you.
Holy cow. I know a guy with an 844 number. The contracts get pricey. Interesting.
Yeah, like that. That's where using like a Skype in number or something like that. So it's like
listen,
a super
if you want
to
call in, you're paying for it.
Right.
I'm not paying for you to call in.
Right.
So you can ask me about Howard Stern or some troll thing.
Right.
Or say
another thing too is and this is kind of complicated, but I have a video on my channel about how to set up Discord to bring on guests. And with that, if you have people in your circle or you have moderators or whatever the thing is, you can also set Discord up. What we did, and thank Zaggy DK for this one. But basically, he set it all up to where moderators could actually screen the person that was coming on first. So basically they had like a waiting room to where people could go into there. And then they had like a next up, it was kind of like a call kind of queue. And then you had the next up caller. So basically what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm finished with this call. So now we are going to bring on, somebody else. And then they would move that person into the live room. And then, we'd be able to have the conversation there. It was super cool. Really fun. Really fun. Okay, so the Inquisitive Ren podcast is our next channel. They upload when they have time and on YouTube for a year or more. They do podcast interviews. The goal of the channel is interviews focused on philosophy, psychology, spirituality, and learning from each other's experiences. And the question is, we upload twice monthly on YouTube and streaming platforms. Would appreciate your expert view if you could take a look to see if there's anything we can do to grow the channel. So we're not looking at channels on the stream. Like every now and then we'll pull something up because we need it for context or something like that. But we're not pulling up channels on the stream. I have other channels that I do that on. So I occasionally do it on the TubeBuddy channel. I do it on the stream, the Tube Spanner channel a lot. So make sure you're subscribed over to the Tube Spanner channel and to have all of your notifications turned on. So when I do that over there, you can be notified of it. So next up, we've got Guess What? Corgi Butt. The type of channel is a pet channel, a Corgi dog channel. The goal of the channel is to grow and build a Corgi. I don't know if it's Corgi or Corgi. I'm not sure.
Corgi?
But centered around my two Corgis. Corgis, I don't know. Ultimately to be monetized. The question is, thank you so much for answering my question 2 weeks ago. It was helpful. And because of that, I learned that the direction I must likely go is entertainment versus instructional. My question today is, what would your suggestion be for someone that is experiencing burnout? Sometimes all of it just becomes a little overwhelming and can really do a number on my mental state. So it is G. Okay, thanks, Kathy Fit. So when it comes to burnout on YouTube, it's a real thing. And it can be a real thing for a lot of people because a lot of people are doing like YouTube or they're doing like their job or their school plus whatever, after work or social activities that they're doing, plus YouTube, which demands a lot of attention and energy. And because of that, it can cause to burn out overall or just burn out on the hobby thing. So because of that, the thing that I recommend that you do if you feel like you're burning out is first, just give yourself a break. right? Give yourself a break. And during that break, ask yourself questions about like, what am I doing this for? What am I really trying to accomplish? Am I spending, the time that I have for this thing? Am I spending that time doing the right things that will actually help me kind of, excel at this thing? Or am I just spending a lot of time on it for the sake of spending time on it? And, make sure that you're, giving active time to it in terms of, things that you're actually doing to kind of move the whole thing forward when you are giving it time, so that you can see results from it and things like that, which will help you, give you a little bit more energy to kind of get through that burnout. But rest is super important. So making sure that you're sleeping well, that you're eating okay, all that. Make sure you're drinking enough water, all those things. But when it comes to burnout, just, sometimes you just got to take a break. Sometimes you got to scale back. Sometimes you need to do those types of things. Some people might recommend that you just toughen up and that you just hustle through it or whatever. You can do that too, depending on how bad you want whatever it is that you're trying to do with your channel. But I do recommend that you do take care of yourself first, because if you're not showing up the way that if you're not showing up at your best or pretty close to it, then in that case you're not able to give what it is that you actually want to give in your content. So because of that, I do recommend that you do take breaks if you need to. In some cases, that can be a break from what you're doing entirely for a period of time. Maybe you skip the upload this week and just kind of take that time that you would spend working on content to go out and take some walks, go hang out at a park with your dog in your situation, those types of things, just to kind of do something to kind of shake things up a little bit. Just give yourself those breaks. In other cases, you might need to do it every day. In terms of like, okay, today I'm just going to, take this dedicated 20 minutes to where I'm not looking at my phone, to where I'm having to, lose energy there. I'm not thinking about YouTube. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just going to kind of sit here in silence if you can, and just kind of sit there and just kind of, be with yourself, in that time, in order to just kind of, recenter and just kind of give yourself those like little micro breaks, so that you can, just make sure that you're, that you're feeling okay. Because that's, like if you're not, then it kind of breaks everything. So because of that, definitely make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to get through that burnout. Other things that can be helpful too.
Burnout's tough, man.
It is a lot of people will burn out because they're just in motion doing the thing, but they are doing the thing because they feel like they need to do the thing or they want to do the thing, but they haven't set like a clear reason that they're doing the thing. And they don't really like understand like a real like core why outside of like, hey, I just want to do the thing. So another thing that can be helpful when it comes to burnout is also just having like a real clear vision on what you're actually trying to accomplish. So then you make sure that you're tracking everything properly. You make sure that, you're keeping tabs on the right things in terms of you're able to, meet that thing, that the reason that you're doing it for. So, that sort of thing can be helpful too. But yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, burnout's tough. All the advice he gave is great, but I don't think there's an easy answer.
Mm-hmm. It's different for everybody.
It's different for everyone.
Everybody's got different stuff going on.
Yeah, and there's reasons for burnout. Are you burned out because you're just losing interest? Are you burned out because you're super busy? Are you burned out because you're not meeting the expectations that you think you should have? I should be growing at this speed, or I should be getting this many views, or you're putting a ton of work in and nobody's really watching your videos. Are you burned out because you're depressed? Are you burned out because there's a million reasons, right? So you should really figure out why you're burned out. Because I think it's a difficult thing to give a blanket solution to burnout.
Totally.
Because it's tough, because everybody's different. It could be a combination of things. Yeah, like Nikki says in here, that the hamster wheel of YouTube, like that's a real thing, man. Like as creators,
it is, but at the same time, I mean, like for people that work like regular jobs, like they got to keep showing up every day too.
Yeah, but
right?
when you
like
show up,
it's similar.
There's a difference though. If you show up every day for work, it's because it's expected of you, and you know what the payoff's going to be. Like you're in the hamster wheel of a profession, and you know what the result is. From a creative's perspective, when you're in a hamster wheel there, you keep running, and you're not. There's an uncertainty that goes with the wheel. Like you're exerting the energy. Right, exerting energy doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get anything in return.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't necessarily mean financially. I mean, you might do all the energy, put all your energy out there, and people just don't respond.
Right.
For whatever reason, maybe you just don't have the skills yet.
That's what Kadu is saying right here. He says the worst burnout for me was to put pressure on me for a result that was unreal at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens
a lot.
Expecting
like, hey, this video is going to just completely take off.
Yeah.
And then you're just not like at that place yet to where, like that's, a thing that could happen right now. Yeah.
And, sometimes just life gets in the way and just all the things going on at once can just cause you to just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes there's just periods of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, creative. Listen, I admire anyone who, you're amazing at this. I admire anyone who can just get on YouTube and just go. Just get on YouTube and go and just keep going for 10 years. Like that's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. Just like 10 years of going. That's really incredible. But, for people who are really creative, we struggle. No, I mean that. That's incredible. Yeah. But, a lot of times creatives, we're
our own worst enemy.
We're our own worst enemies a lot of times. A lot of times our focus is all over the place.
That make us creative can torment us.
100%, man. Yeah, like that whatever that thing is that makes us creative. Like if you are unable to focus that and keep it focused, man, it can drive you. It can take you all over the place. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Yep. And life can get in the way, and sometimes you have to prioritize what's really important. Yep. And sometimes YouTube is just not the most important thing.
Yep. And other times it's the only important thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
Rocket Queen, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Welcome to the stream.
So just keep going, man. Do whatever you can at the speed that you have to do it at. That's the best thing I could say.
Yep.
It's ADHD. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it's part of the... Like all that stuff.
All the things.
Yep.
One small tip I can give you. Try to position yourself, and this doesn't have to be YouTube. This doesn't have to be YouTube. When I say create, I don't mean has to be YouTube. Like maybe you do other things. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you can draw. Maybe you make music. Maybe you knit, crochet, whatever it is. Maybe you do origami. I don't know, whatever it is. But I would say try to build a habit of creating more than you consume. So if you find that you're consuming, and this happens for me, if I'm consuming more than I'm making something, it does a number on me. Yeah, like I like my entire thought process starts, like I notice it. Like my mind starts to change and I start getting irritable and like, I don't know if it's the dopamine stuff that you're just constantly getting, bombarded with dopamine or whatever. But
where when you're not getting it, your brain's like getting all like,
yeah, and then you just see stuff and it irritates you and whatever. But for me, I find that if I'm consuming more than I'm creating something, it just completely knocks me off balance mentally. Just screws up. Like I feel like, does anybody else feel that way? Like I feel like my entire life is off balance if I'm just. And I'm not just talking about YouTube. Like just I'm consuming Netflix too much, or I'm consuming other people's stuff too much instead of making my own thing. Whatever that is. Maybe it's learning how to draw and procreate, or making music, or whatever it is that you do to get that creative juice out. Kathy says I get depressed. Yeah, I can too. Yeah, absolutely. But for me, I have to identify it. If I notice that my brain starts to shift, I'm at the point now where I go, oh, okay, I know what's going on. Either I'm not eating well, or I'm not sleeping well, or I'm consuming way too much and I'm not making anything. Whatever it is, just making something. Or some combination of the three. And usually when all of them are engaged, I'm a mess. Just a complete mess. So just chemical imbalances. So just be mindful of that stuff, and then when you notice it, try to do a course correction. I know we kind of got steered off there, but I think a lot of that...
No, what you're talking about though is burnout and dealing with that and just kind of monitoring yourself essentially, so that if you are burning out, you can notice it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely on topic.
Yeah. Because I think it's just a deeper conversation than just how do I get through burnout. Like burnout is, it's just at scale across. We all experience burnout for different reasons. Right.
Yeah, there's also physical burnout too. Yeah, in terms of just like not having the energy to do stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody just asked, Rocket Queen. Yes, this is a live stream.
Yep,
Rocket
we are
Queen.
Live, baby.
Yep, you're live. Yep. Answering the questions for about 30 more minutes. Yep.
Central is the name of the next channel here. They upload one time per week or more. The type of channel is entertainment and documentary content. The goal of the channel says, I've been telling weird, dark stories from U.S. and other countries To my parents who don't understand English, that gave me the idea to start a channel to translate the stories and folklore that share them in my native language. Goody, what were you going to say?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I want to add to that because I think it's important for people who are starting out.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of you are starting out and maybe you haven't built your channel momentum yet and you're still wondering like, hey, I'm burned out and I haven't even, things aren't even moving yet and I'm getting burned out. It's Kev goes here, maybe think about that. He says, getting over the hump of not making anything for a while is daunting. Yeah, I just want to let you know, for those of you who are getting into this, it's okay. Like you might get burned out and it's perfectly okay. People burn out. People walk away from channels with millions of subscribers, making full-time, like incredible living from doing that. They just burn out and they walk away from it for a while.
They just can't hit the record button anymore.
They just can't do it anymore. So, so I just want to let you know if you're in that position, it's okay. We go through it. Just do the best you can.
Yep.
That's it. Do the best you can. It happens to everyone at all sizes of where they're at along the creative journey. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
So the question here is the video on my channel that I uploaded before the newest video is a re-upload. My editing was off, the music was too much, and I understood that fact after the upload was published. So I unlisted it and immediately started editing the video, and I fixed the music issue and re-uploaded it. The thumbnail title means the curse that followed, and the YouTube title reads the spirit that destroyed the Bell family, which is a somewhat famous Tennessee legend. The channel's focus is on a scary, paranormal, and gruesome content such as serial killer stories and documentaries. After noticing the music issue, I immediately unlisted the video, uploaded the published new video, then I deleted the old video. For 9 or so hours, the old video was live, and it gained about 290 views, 47 watch hours, and 27 likes. Until that point, I got about 70 to 120 video views per hour after I uploaded a story on Robert Pinkton. I noticed almost immediately after the re-upload that my per hour views dropped to about 20 to 40 and goes down sometimes to about 0 to 10 range, which is the same around the third or fourth video upload. When I uploaded that video that has the words John Price, the channel grew fast, and the old video started to get many views. Now that it has reduced massively, is it something that I can be concerned about, and will it just automatically go back to the way it was? No. So when you have videos do well, they don't automatically snap back once they, decline. So it's really common for videos on YouTube to where at the time of publish it does well, and then it kind of tapers off. Then 2 or 3 days, it starts picking up some momentum. Then it rides for a while, and then after that, maybe after 28 days or something, it'll start kind of curving off or kind of leveling out a little bit. So when it comes to will it go back to the way it was, it might. But it might not also, right? So one thing that is important that I just want to point out is you mentioned that when you talk about specific people, the video does well. So one thing to consider is that, around the type of content that you are making, I would actually research the people that you're going to talk about before you commit to making the content. Like if your goal is like, okay, I'm trying to grow the channel and trying to, get this content in front of as many people as possible, I would consider researching the people that you're going to be talking about before you make the content on those people, so you can try to get a gauge of who the most popular people are. For that particular tool, going to Google Trends would be a great way to do that. Just go to trends.google.com and put in the names of different people. So on Google Trends, I think you can do up to 5 different things that you can kind of gauge against each other. So you want to go to Google Trends. You want to make sure that you are selecting, in this case, you could select like the last year for the date range because, they've all been around for a while. And then from there, make sure that you have YouTube selected from the drop down so that you're looking for YouTube. I would look on Google too, because that both of those are gauging just general interest in that person. So I would look in the Google version and in the YouTube version of Trends and see, which one of those people are getting, the most people looking around for information on them. And then I would make content around those particular people first. And then by doing that, that gives you the opportunity to create your audience around those people that people are interested in the most. And then that gives you the opportunity to also share, additional people once you start creating that core audience in terms of people that might, interact with that initial content to kind of help it get legs, essentially. So that'd be the approach that I would recommend on that. Next up, we've got Select Screen. They upload every other day, been on YouTube for a year or more. The type of channel says, I have a family-friendly entertainment channel where we play games and review movies. The goal of the channel is to provide a place where people can enjoy games and movies without swearing, allowing parents to watch with their kids in their room, even if it's Mortal Kombat. I love it.
Nice.
Says, I've been told that I need to niche down, but I can't seem to grow. The small audience that I do have likes the video game live content or likes the movie review content. You're variety gamers, so we don't just play one game and kind of take things like seasons. We've been doing this for 5 years consistently. Have not passed 500 subscribers. How can I grow? Okay, so in your case, you're in a different scenario than a lot of people that have been here today. So I'm not gonna pull your channel up yet. I'm just gonna kind of look at it real quick because I just want to check something based on one of the things that you mentioned. Okay, so you're playing games on the channel and you are talking about movies. So there's the first problem. So when it comes to YouTube, it's helpful to like pick one or the other, right? So, if you have a channel that's all about movies, then people who are interested in movies, they can come and they can enjoy all of the content that you have available on your channel. If they're interested in games or specific types of games, driving games, fighting games, battle royale type games, whatever, then they can come to your channel and know that they can get that type of content, right? So the idea is to think about, okay, with my channel, I'm creating a resource of content, and it's important to have this perspective on YouTube. If you're in this situation, you're trying to, grow, but you're putting up a bunch of content that isn't like really targeted towards anybody. You're basically mixing content, or you have a variety channel. Is thinking to yourself, okay, I am going to make my channel, my entire YouTube channel, a great resource for a certain type of viewer that's interested in certain types of content, right? You want to start there. And then from there, you make sure that every video that you publish to the channel is a good fit for those types of viewers, right? So that's like just kind of easy mode. Now there's a lot of nuance in that. There's a lot of, detail that you can get into there, like, segmenting and stuff like that. So for example, if you have a travel channel, some people would think that, okay, if I have a travel channel, that means I can travel to all these places and do like a vlog and showcase all these places. And I can also give like, travel tips and, things like that. Well, those aren't always a good crossover. And the reason for that is because not everybody that is interacting with the channel, if you're doing both, not everybody's a traveler. So because of that, the travel tip content might not matter. Some people could just be living vicariously through the creator and the travel stuff, or they just love the entertainment side of what it is that they're being shown, or they just want to explore the world through content, and they use that content for that. So then when a travel channel starts making these tip videos, sometimes they don't land. And when they don't land, it could be because their audience is actually there for the entertainment value or to see some of these places through their lens. And then on the other side of that, it can go the other way too, to where like, their travel advice is great, their tip videos are great, they're showing all these cool places, and through that, then they're growing that audience of travelers. So then when they publish the content on, the entertainment type stuff, they may not respond to it as well. So like when it comes to the niching downside, there's definitely nuance within that, but the very first step is figuring out like, okay, what type of resource do I want to create for what type of viewer that's interested in what? And then you get to work on creating that resource. So I think one of the things that would be very helpful for you first is figuring out what it is that you want to do. And if you want to do the movie content, then do that, choose that as like moving forward. If you want to do the gaming content, then choose that moving forward. If you want to do both, then in that particular case, consider, you don't have to do this, but consider if you're trying to grow, I would consider separating them and putting one on, I'm going to do movies on this channel and gaming on this channel. So then you have two different channels for two different types of viewers that are interested in two different things. Another problem that we have here is that you have a video title here that has a thumbnail on it that looks like a screen grab, which is okay. But it's just like a random screen grab, so it doesn't really like look like anything. And then the title is just sheesh. Okay.
Sheesh.
So a couple problems you have with this is that first, the title doesn't mean anything. Two, your thumbnail's not really clear on like what the content even is in terms of like what game it is or anything like that. Like this particular thumbnail itself for this video that I'm looking at, this could be for a bunch of different types of games. Like there's nothing that stands out with it being a very specific game. So because of that, I would definitely work on your thumbnails as well. And other things also is you have here, like do this before playing EA Sports, college football online. And it's a landscape video. It's like a minute and 21 seconds, which it can be okay. But in terms of like the thumbnail on this, again, this is one of those scenarios where it's just not clear at all what's going on. Like you see the football character a little bit, but it's just like a big hodgepodge of stuff like all over the thumbnail. So I would do more for the gaming stuff of what you're doing for the for the movie stuff, where you're just like, hey, here's a good screenshot with a good, clear information on kind of what's going on here. I would do that for the gaming content as well. So I would do both of those things. And of course, make sure you are paying attention to how people are responding to your videos when they click into them. Are they sticking around? Are they leaving quickly? Those types of things. So you can make sure that once they do click, that you are able to, capture and hold their attention. Cato Ribeiro, welcome to the Niminati. Make sure when you get the chance, you go to NiminVIP. .com. I'm going to put it on the screen here for you real quick. Make sure you go to NiminVIP.com. It's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group if that's something that you're interested in. Make sure that you go there and you fill out all the information there so that we can get you into the Facebook group as soon as the stream is over today. So go do that now if you can. And if you're interested, we also have a Discord as well. So all you do there is you connect your YouTube channel to Discord, and then the group will show up there because you're already a member here. And then the connection that you make there will automatically have all that sorted.
Next.
Getting there. 1 second, D.
Nope. Are you paying attention? What number are you on?
Now I'm on 33.
Moving right along.
Wait. Nope. 34.
34.
Moving along even faster.
There you go. There you go.
So next up, we've got, hey, my pleasure, Central. Next up, we've got DG Outdoors channel, Faith in the Outdoors. They upload 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do hunting, fishing, and outdoors content. The goal of the channel is to share my passion and love for the outdoors. The question is, promote my short or video feature. What does this actually do? Isn't it like paying for views? Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So you are advertising your video when you use the promotions tab. One thing that I recommend if you're just getting into this is that if you have not learned yet how to make content that gets an organic response, meaning that you get an acceptable amount of views based on whatever that number means to you, an acceptable amount of views without having to pay for it. Unless you have done that, I would never do the promotions tab. And the reason for that is because when you pay for money, or when you pay money to get your videos in front of people, it's going to seem like, hey, this is working, this is great, it's getting me subscribers, it's getting me viewers and all that. So it's going to kind of hook you there, and it might cause you to spend even more money. And then once you're like, okay, I think I got this now. I've got a certain amount of subscribers. This particular video I'm running ads on, got this many views, so I think I'm good now. I'm just going to, shut off these ads and publish another video.
And then what happens?
If you publish that next video, but you still haven't learned how to get that organic response in terms of, good video topics, good thumbnails, good titles, good content that causes YouTube to recommend your content to more people, then in that particular case, as soon as you stop spending money and you turn off that, faucet, so to speak, then you're still going to be in the same exact position you were before you spent that money on the promotions.
Yep.
So when it comes to the promotions tab, what that's mainly for, it's not necessarily to promote your channel. It's to promote videos that you might have some type of monetization attached to them. So like, let's say that you have a product that is a part of your YouTube channel and you want to let people know about it. That promotional tab, that's a way that you can do it to get it in front of more people and to kind of guarantee that message is going to get in front of people because you have something to sell, right? That's kind of the idea of the promotional tab. It's not necessarily there for the sake of just trying to, people use it for that, but it's not really there for, for people to just use it to try to get views on videos, because really you're just taking a loss in that particular case because you're not getting a return on that. You're just taking that loss.
Taking the L.
Yep. Travis, MVP. It's MCP, but
there
MVP in our world.
Hey, Travis.
He says, hey,
how you doing,
Nick and D, on Saturday mornings are like cartoons from the 80s. Crazy and cool. Let me get my M&Ms and sit back and watch. Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you're doing awesome.
Cartoons from the 80s.
Yep.
So there are some accounts on X that post clips from the old school cartoons.
Oh, nice.
From the 80s.
Like He-Man and stuff like that.
Like Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, nice.
And Bugs Bunny. And oh my goodness.
Nice.
Like they've got some crazy stuff.
Do
like,
they?
Yeah. Like rewatching some of that stuff as an adult, you're just like, yeah, that wasn't okay.
Nice. Yeah, of course.
That kind of has a weird meaning now as an adult. Yeah, some really interesting stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I remember my waking up on Saturdays and wrapping myself up in a blanket.
Yeah.
And then just going and sitting in the living room and eating cereal and like watching like wrestling and cartoons. It was like the greatest time ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Cartoons,
Yeah, it was
man.
amazing.
So so those of you who grew up.
Yeah, Ron Stranson thing says, but it was okay.
It was, it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But as we evolve, like, it
was okay.
Yeah.
It's just looking back at some of the choices, you're like,
yeah,
like, but it was a different time. 70s, 80s, like that was a different time. You got away with a lot. We were just talking about that today or tonight during dinner. Just how like old comedy, how everything is so politically correct now that you can't even put like comedies together anymore like the way that they used to.
Yeah.
Like some of those old comedies are pretty raw. But it's comedy. Am I wrong, people? Am I wrong in thinking that comedy should just be like a free-for-all in terms of just it's comedy? Like that's the point. Yes, no?
Yeah, another thing with comedy too is it challenges people to think about things in different ways. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they should just, let it loose. Let it go. Yeah. If it offends you, figure out why it offends you.
Yeah.
Or maybe, learn to laugh at it.
Yeah.
Travis says my favorite. Yep. The Office couldn't exist nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Office is amazing.
Yeah.
Beaver Zero, what's up, dude?
We were feral children.
So next up on the list here, we've got Explore Norway. And they upload when they have time, been on YouTube a year or more. It's tourist advice for Norway. The goal of the channel is to help tourists in their Norway journey. And the question is, general question, last week I had a discussion with my sister about copyright where she had to prove that she had written her book that she was about to publish.
Wow.
So how do you prove legally that a video is yours, especially a faceless channel, assuming it's your own footage? You have all the original content. Right. So if you have all the original content, then that means you have like cameras that it's attached to because all this stuff is embedded in the video files, the raw video files. This is one of those things where just like, keeping the content can be advantageous if you were to run into issues in the future in terms of putting stuff on hard drives or, whatever. But yeah, if you record it and you have the original content, then that's your proof essentially.
Yeah.
Go ahead, D.
And I'm going to say this too. Don't rely on YouTube to correctly identify that you were the first person to upload something because they usually don't correctly identify that.
Yeah. Yeah. He tested a lot of that with Creator Mix. And like sometimes he would upload something and then upload it to another channel and it wouldn't even show up.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Like it wouldn't even show up that somebody else was using it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So their content match tool and their ability to identify who is uploading things first, even though there's like a date attached to it.
Yeah.
Their automated system will absolutely make mistakes.
Yeah.
But in terms of, for one, set your cameras. Like you can add your date inside of all the cameras, so make sure all that's up to date. Mm-hmm. And then make sure when you're editing things, make sure any metadata that you can put into it is put into it. If there's pictures, make sure all the metadata is put in there. And hopefully you never have to prove that in court. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it never gets that far to where you're looking at metadata.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully you never get to that point. Yeah.
Next up, we're on 3070. Crushing through these today.
It's one before 38.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So they upload every other day. It's Christ Followers Ministry is the name of the channel. The type of channel is Christian Gospel. The goal of the channel is to spread the gospel. And the question is, I want to share my videos to more audience. I'm not getting more views. So yeah, same. We've talked about getting views a lot, and we've talked about like the things that you got to do to get views. So you got to make sure the topics are about things that people care about. In your particular case, you're trying to spread the gospel, which means that you're probably making content around Christian topics, which means that it's more likely that Christians or people that are already into it are going to be seeing your content more than it's spreading to new people. If that's because you said the type of channel is Christian Gospel, so the way the system works is like if people are interacting with that type of content, then they're likely to see other content like that. So in your particular case, it might not necessarily be spreading it as much as it is just kind of feeding more of that to people that are already interested in it. So with that, in terms of how to get more audience, it's going to come down to the specific things that you choose to talk about, how you package those up in terms of the thumbnail and the title, and then of course once people get into the video itself, one of the things that YouTube puts a lot of weight on in terms of the level of importance for identifying if somebody is enjoying the content is how long people watch your videos for. So if somebody goes into your video and they quickly abandon your video, they quickly, go and watch something else, they quickly leave, then that tells YouTube that people just aren't into it, that much. So because of that, they will show your content to people that are actually generating more watch time. Now there's other like nuanced stuff, like, if your click-through rate is crazy, and then they end up watching, for a little bit less time maybe than, somebody that, had like a much lower click-through rate, but they watch for longer times. Like there's all these nuanced things too. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to get people watching the videos. You got to get people clicking on them. And if you are having difficulty in either of those areas, then work on your skill sets around those things, learning how to edit, learning how to tell stories, learning how to make better thumbnails by learning how to design things on like Photoshop or Canva or TubeSpanner or whatever it is that you're using to make your thumbnails, learning how to write better titles or using AI at least to help you write better titles, but trying to learn, along the way what makes a better title. But like all of those things, you got to work on those skills, because if you just keep uploading, if you're not getting a result and you just keep uploading and doing the same thing, then, it's not going to just magically change, right? You like the difference happens by unlocking different skill sets along the way and getting better at certain things, right? Yeah. So just work on those things. And just a side note, just because your mission is to spread the gospel. So like I mentioned before, from, like an algorithmic standpoint, if you're making Christian-based content, then it's more likely that people that are already into that content and are already watching it are going to be the ones that see it. So if you're wanting to spread it, it might be a good idea to make content about something else and then inject that type of messaging into what it is that you're doing to, spread more, to spread it more that way. Just kind of some food for thought there.
Mm. How are you doing on numbers?
That's a wrap, D.
That's all of them?
Yep, we got them all.
Wow.
Yep. That was a good stream.
Yep.
Man, we got through a lot of questions today. That's good.
Good.
Yep.
Good. 37 of them.
Yep,
oh, you got a super chat here.
That's good. Six Shop, thanks for super chat. It says, is quality more important than quantity? Had a small video really tank, got behind due to health and missed an upload. Do you delete bad videos? So I don't delete bad videos, but I do delete old videos that are not getting impressions or haven't gotten impressions, for a long time. I don't do it to all of them. I just do it to some, to where if I'm like, this isn't really relevant anymore. If somebody were to stumble across this from watching some of my regular content and they go and check it out on my channel page or something, then it's not really relevant anymore. In that case, I'll delete them. About 2 months ago, I deleted like 1.5 million views from my YouTube channel in live streams and old live streams.
That's massive.
So, like I delete content sometimes. YouTube recommends that you do not, delete videos. But I absolutely delete videos sometimes. I delete videos sometimes. I delete live streams sometimes, but it's nothing recent. It's always old stuff. Again, the reason that I do that is because it's either like irrelevant or, it's just not as, good as it was or, whatever. There's just zero impressions, whatever. But I'm a fan of deleting stuff, but YouTube says not to. But I'm a fan of deleting content that is no longer working for me, or it's incorrect, or it's not adding value, or it's just outdated. Pretty much everything that's been added to the channel adds value in some way, but some of it's just outdated. So then I'll, delete some of that stuff.
Do you delete it or unlist it?
I'll delete it.
Just straight up delete it.
Yep. I've got a few videos that I've unlisted because I'll still leave them in a playlist because it might be helpful. But I've deleted them just because when people go into it, they abandon it like super fast. So I'm just like, it was just a bad video. So I'm just gonna have it available in a playlist as an unlisted video instead of having it something that YouTube might recommend to somebody. Because one of the things that I think about is like, okay, if somebody, Angelique, what's going on? Hope you're doing great.
Hey.
Is if somebody is, interacting with my channel and YouTube has the option to recommend something to them, like, even though they're probably going to recommend the higher performing content anyway, I still just want to make sure that, okay, if somebody gets recommended this, hopefully, they'll click on it. And then if they do, hopefully they'll also come in and enjoy the content. If it's a video that was just a horrible intro or whatever, and people leave, then, in some cases I'll take those down too.
There you go.
But to answer your question though, on quality versus quantity. So, we had this conversation earlier today. If you were, I'm guessing you weren't here at that time, but basically if you have videos that underperform and people just aren't responding well to those videos, uploading 1,000 of those videos isn't going to make people all of a sudden respond well to those videos just because you have a lot of them, right? But if you make a good video, and you put that out, even though it might be one video compared to that 1,000, that one video might get you more activity than those 1,000 videos that you put out just for the sake of putting out videos, right? So quality is definitely important, but once you hit a threshold of quality and you're like, hey, I've got some, you know, I'm happy with the numbers that I'm getting here, then you can say, okay, I've hit that quality threshold that I'm, you know, happy with. This is, you know, performing well on YouTube and it represents me well, or, you know, whatever. So now let me figure out how to publish more content, right? That's where you know, if you want to ramp things up, that's where you do it. You got to hit that quality threshold first though, so that you can make sure that what you're putting out is being well received. Because again, you know, 1,000 videos that people don't like isn't going to make people suddenly like those videos.
Well said.
Thank you. Thanks, D. And on that note, I just want to thank everybody for hanging out in the stream today. I do want to remind you, if you are a new content creator and you're somebody just getting started at this, or if you're somebody that's hitting that wall and you're like, man, things just are not working out the way that I want them to work out right now, I just recommend that you be patient with yourself, be patient with the process, and remember that YouTube is a learning curve, just like anything else that you do. Playing an instrument, playing a sport, getting a new job, having to learn all the stuff related to that job. Anything you do in life that's new, you got to go through this process of learning how to do it. With YouTube, there's a lot of skills that are involved and all of that type of thing. So because of that, embrace that side of things and be active on developing the skills, like learn about design, learn about copywriting so you can write better titles, learn about human psychology so you can connect better with people, learn about communication. Yeah, I'll get it here in a second. Yeah. Learn about communication, learn about how to edit videos, learn about, you know, presenting on camera, learn about, you know, set design if you are in a set environment, those types of things. But, you know, just work on the skill sets, and around those skill sets, those are what end up making everything else ultimately possible. So hang in there, you got this. And we did get another super chat, so I'm going to answer that real quick from Sun Civil Media. It says, my channel is floundering and I can't make it grow. So if your channel is floundering and you can't make it grow, it means that right now you're at in a place, so to speak, where you haven't, you know, learned all of the skills required, or you're making decisions around what it is that you're bad decisions around what it is that you're doing. But I just took a quick look at your channel, man, and you've got 4,000 subscribers, so you are growing. You're definitely growing. What it is that you're doing seems clear. You are teaching people how to elevate their music skills, so what it is that you're offering is clear. I see that you're doing a lot of AI thumbnails where it looks like you have like an AI character in the background. I would definitely stop doing that if you can, because it doesn't, seem to be working, but it could be on the actual, content side that could be a part of that. But yeah, I would definitely be careful there. What you're doing on the thumbnail side in terms of, using music-related imagery, that's a good move. So I would definitely lean more into that. But go into your videos, look and see what people are responding to the most, and, do that. But I'd be super careful. You have tons of AI thumbnails. Be really careful with that. And the reason to be careful with that is because there's people that do not click on thumbnails if they have that look at scale. Like a lot of people don't even know this stuff is going on, but for the people that do, a lot of people just won't click on it because they expect an AI video to be behind it, right? So just be really careful. Be really careful with that. They do work on some channels, but just be super careful with that, and use the AI graphics and stuff like that more as a compliment instead of doing like the whole thing, right? Since you have 4,000 subscribers on the channel, I would definitely put you in the thumbnail more. And the reason for that is because you do have people that have interacted with the channel, and by having you in the thumbnail consistently, it's going to help them identify that it's your content for the people that love your videos. In addition to that, you have Epic MCC. I have an MPC Live, by the way. Love that thing. But you have Epic MPC Live Family Remix Challenge. MPC SE meets the SP404. You've got, I discovered the secret to success and it changed everything. So these two videos back to back, right? And then you have another MPC video here. So back to back, a couple things you got to think about is, one, this don't give up video. On the thumbnail itself, here, I'm actually going to pull this up here real quick. Okay. So we can just talk about this for a second, D, if you don't mind.
Yep, go for it.
Let's see. Yeah, this is one of those context ones that I talked about before. That we gotta just kind of show here.
Yep, get it.
So right here, let me kind of move this around a little bit. Hey, and by the way, this little tool over here on this side, this is called Creative Fuel. It's a new tool that just came out a couple of weeks ago for ideation around your YouTube videos. go to creativefuel.ai and check this out for yourself. It's a really cool tool. I've been messing with it a lot lately, and it's really cool. I'm going to make a video about it. Daniel Batal did a stream about it recently. People are like really loving this particular tool. But okay, so what I'm going to talk about here is like this right here, right? This video. So if you look at this video right here from the outside, you have a music channel that helps people elevate their music skills. The only music related things you have in here are the microphone and the music symbols, right? But the messaging is like, don't give up. I discovered the secret to success and it changed everything. If you're targeting people that are trying to learn music, you need to make sure, and I call this an audience identifier, where you're directly calling out the people that you're trying to reach, which is especially important for packaging like this. So instead of I discovered the secret to success, I discovered the secret to music success, or success as an artist, or success as a musician, is what you want to put in here, because then that helps the right people identify that this is about something they care about, instead of people that are into like success and motivational content clicking on this. So you can make sure that, you know, everybody that's interacting with your channel is in alignment with what it is that you're doing. So I would definitely consider that sort of thing. Other things here, NPC Family Masada Epic Challenge. So I'm somebody that watches music content. Like I watch content like yours, where you're showing people music stuff. Yeah. This right here, I would never click on this. Why? And the reason I wouldn't click on this is because it's an epic remix challenge, which I don't care about because, you know, I'm not involved. 2, I don't know what Masada is. And 3, the NPC family thing might grab my attention, but there's no real clear value here in this to me. So as somebody that watches music related content, like, okay, it's an epic remix challenge. Are you doing the remix? Is this something that I'm watching you do? Is this a challenge that you're having for your viewers where they get to do a remix and then they submit those remixes to you to where they're a part of it? Is this something that you're reacting to where this is somebody else's remix of something and you're just doing a reaction to it? Like, it's not clear from the outside what it is that people, you know, can actually, you know, what somebody might actually expect from this. So I would definitely work on clarity. So when you're packaging up your content, and this is something that is really important for everybody to know, when you're packaging up your content, you want to make sure that it's clear, you know, what it is that you're offering through that content. Yes, you can create curiosity gaps and all of that, but you still need to do those around that thing that is clear, right? So because of that, yeah, definitely be specific in what it is that you're offering. Another thing, since you do have, you know, like practicing drums, trying to keep rhythm, watch me get better. This type of thing can be interesting, right? Like if you do progression videos and show those over time, like I started like this, then I got to this, and then this is 3 months later, 6 months later, that sort of thing. Those can really be interesting. However, to just some random new viewer who isn't super engaged in your content already, watch me get better doesn't really mean anything either, right? If it's not like a sequence video like that. Practicing drums, you know, trying to keep rhythm, watch me get better. Yeah, like those types of things, you know, it's, again, it's not like super, super clear there. And it's also about you, not necessarily the value that you're offering to them, right? Here, New Jack Swing is back, recreating New Edition's iconic thing. So here, this is kind of like a good path of what you're doing here. So in this particular case, you are leveraging, you know, like the, you know, New Jack Swing, you know, type of thing. So, you know, people can be like, oh yeah, I remember that. And, you know, that can pull some people in there. But this is another one to where it's like, you know, you're recreating in what, you know, whatever. But I think in your case specifically, because you do have yourself right up here, like, you know, having you in the thumbnail so that people can know, like, hey, you know, it's another one of his videos. I would definitely be experimenting with that and just seeing if it, you know, helps in terms of, you know, the amount of people clicking. And then of course, clarity is another thing that I would work on. And then these types of things are cool too, right? You have like cancer survivor terms to music for healing. This is cool because it's inspirational. But one thing you got to think about though is if somebody's coming here to elevate their music skills, there's not really much here about actually elevating your music skills if that's your value proposition, right? If you're trying to help people elevate their music skills, right? So as a viewer, I'm looking from the outside and I'm thinking to myself, okay, how's this dude going to help me elevate my skills? So far, I've got watching you grow. I've got this other person talking about their, you know, their healing that they use music for. I've got the New Jack Swing is back. None of this is helpful in terms of, you know, me looking at your channel and instantly understanding like, oh, this video can help me elevate. This video can help me elevate, and this video can help me elevate. So one thing that I would consider, and you can still do this type of, you know, stuff, but one thing I would consider would be mixing in very specific how-to content that legitimately helps people elevate their music skills. It can be, you know, music theory stuff. It can be, you know, things very specific to the MPC and the other equipment that you use. But I would definitely lean more into, like, if your value proposition here is elevating your music skills, before you decide to make a video on something, ask yourself, will this video help somebody elevate their music skills? If so, how? And how am I going to represent that through the thumbnail and the title so that it's about the viewer and about them elevating their skills and how it's going to help them, right? So I would consider all of those things with your content.
I think that's a good rule of thumb anyway. It's like, once you identified yourself what your channel is and who you're trying to reach, and you say, okay, my channel does this. And then when you're wanting to upload, when you're wanting to make a video, ask yourself the question, does this video help this? Right? If my channel is about doing this thing and helping the audience do this thing, is the video I'm about to make, does it help them do that thing? And if the answer is no, then it might not be a good fit for your channel.
Right. Right.
Doesn't mean you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just, keep in mind that, you know, YouTube works best when you've got your audience that they're consuming your content. You put up a video, they watch it. You put up a video, they watch it. They keep coming back to watch your videos. That's where you're going to see some real growth.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and also on the how-to content, you know, like with the how-to content, the reason for that, and it doesn't have to be like how-to X, Y, Z,
right.
but, you know, other things too. Like if I'm trying to reach somebody that's trying to elevate their music skills, you know, I might make a video that might not necessarily be a how-to, but like, since you're doing the MPC specifically, then in that case, like, 10 features that you don't know about on the MPC. Right? Then me, as somebody that has a MPC live, I might see that video get recommended to me. And then I'm like, oh, you know, like, I'm sure there's tons of stuff in here that I don't know how to use yet. Let me see if there's anything helpful in here. And I'm going to click on that. Right. So there's just like crystal clear value attached to it, even though it's not a how-to video. Right. So I would just think about that when you are uploading. So hopefully that was helpful.
There you go.
Yeah, but on that note, everybody have a fantastic rest of your weekend. The time changes tomorrow if you are in the U.S., so because of that, just keep in mind, just be aware, the time is changing tomorrow. Just a quick reminder for that. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. D, great stream as always, and I think we might keep going. I don't know. What are you going to say?
Yeah, so Americans, good luck. The next time we talk to you, you might have
That's
a new,
right.
well, you're going to have a new king.
Yeah.
Prince,
yeah, well, I mean,
queen.
Or queen. Yeah, like
president. Sorry,
yeah.
You don't
the
have
numbers
royalty.
will be in, but it won't be official yet.
You have a new president there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll know who the new president is, possibly, as long as things don't get delayed and turn into just total chaos.
Mayhem. Yeah,
mayhem. Oh, they stole this. They did this.
That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be like glued to the TV, just watching the theatrics just roll out like crazy. Yeah, it's going to be like the best circus show in town. It's going to be great.
So I don't want to know your political affiliation. Don't care. I love you either way.
Yep.
But I'm just curious, yes or no, are you in the United States and are you going to be watching the election? Like, are you paying attention to it at all in the election? Just type in yes or no. I'm just curious how many people are in here right now that are like into politics. Again, I don't care which side you support. Yep. I'm just curious because it's going to be... it'll be an interesting next probably week or 2 weeks or however long it takes.
Yeah, we got some yeses, some yes and nos. We got no's, yeses. We got vote in here. We got yeses, nope. Yep.
Nope. Yes and not
all
really.
Right.
Right. Yes from the UK. Yeah. I will. I don't vote. Don't care.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, watch. I think it's entertaining. Like just kind of watching. It's crazy. Yeah. So have a great rest of your weekend. Good luck with the election stuff if you're into that. And stay safe out there. And check your clocks, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.